Bow pull tight, crown like cold winter light, scroll in hand, 7 seals, every word cuts and heals. Drums, sword raised high, kingdoms come, peace unstitched by a single roar. I hear thunder at my door, wars and rumors of wars, spoken like a curse in the dark. Every headline, every scar is another cracked heart in the ark. Wars and rumors of wars, hey, echo from the prophets and seers. When the Lamb breaks the seal, all the old world shakes with our fears. Black horse ways, bread and bone, steel stilled hard, iron stone. Measure grain by a dying sun, silver short for everyone. Pale horse waits, eyes like ash, graves awake, tombs unlatched, Hades hangs on a trailing chain. Every pulse spells your name. Wars and rumors of wars, spoken like a curse in the dark. Every headline, every scar's another cracked heart in the ark. Wars and rumors of wars, echo from the prophets and seers. When the Lamb breaks the seal, all the old world shakes with our fears. Fifth seal opens. How long? How long? Blood at the altar becomes a song. Sex seal shatters, sky like glass. Kings of the earth hide in the cracks. Wars and rumors
We're
of
getting
wars,
started.
spoken like a curse in the dark. Every headline, every scar is another cracked heart in the ark. Wars and rumors of wars, echo from the prophets and seers. When the Lamb breaks the seal, all the old world drowns in its fears.
Welcome to the show, everybody. How you doing? Good to see you. I gotta tell you, there are days when the news just blows. It just sucks. Like there's terrible things going on. There seems to be sort of a feudal doom cycle we're in until we get new elected officials in there. And even though the public at large seem to have some sort of giant buyer's remorse from Donald Trump, took you fucking long enough. But then there are days when a story just lands right when you kind of need it. It's not necessarily good news. It's just it's obtuse enough. It's at a not quite a perpendicular angle to the current thread of news, but it's off in one direction enough where you're like, oh, all right, okay, I'm not I'm not alone. This is clearly we live in an insane time, and can't stop lying. I hope you know what I'm talking about. Oh my God. Um, apparently, apparently, uh, Christi Noem is not the only person in her family that likes to play dress up. Brace yourselves. ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to Christi Noem's husband. Um, this is him in a stretched pullover shirt with two balloons in his shirt and pink hot pants on. Apparently taken from an image that he either shared on a fetish site or was in the process of interacting with people on the fetish site. At the, um, look, you guys. You guys know I'm not. These are just balloon. Those are balloon knots. It's not okay. This is all right. Shit. This. Okay. You know me. I try not to yuck anybody's yum. What you do in the privacy of your own life is totally fine. I do find it ironic that someone playing dress up is breaking up Christy Noem's marriage and it ain't her. I got to tell you, the it certainly gets her off the hook for the Corey Lewandowski affair. Now it can, she'll use justification of my husband and I were growing apart. He kept borrowing all my great outfits. It was like it's like the road show of Tootsie. Can I borrow that little blue outfit? No, no, no. So for those for those of you that are new to this story, um, Christy Noem's husband was caught using a fetish site wherein the women on said fetish site. I'm sorry, this shadow is going to drive me crazy. The problem is I've been singing a bunch lately, and my mic thing was getting in the way, and my shield was behind um, the mic stand, as as happens, for those of you like who doesn't have a shield available at any given time, full tactical. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm that kind of nerd. I'm just saying, end times, bring it on. All right, so anyways, you, you no, you stay there. So, so, all right. So, shocking pictures of Christy Noem's cross-dressing husband flaunting giant fake breasts revealed, sparking grave security questions. Oh, and some really funny ones as well. I'll, again, I got to tell you, like, on a personal note, I don't, if somebody, as long as it's consenting adults, like, this dude's the least of our problems in that regard. Like, everybody on this site he was involved with are grown up, so I don't know, it's not my thing, but knock yourself out, I guess. But it's particularly ironic that the, whatever, the Christo normative trad crowd always just seem to have the biggest knot in their balloon knot, if you know what I mean. It's he looks like Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. Oh no. So these are the photos that allegedly, oh dear, he's not alleged anymore. He has confessed. He has said that the post, there were some emails or something that looked like a security issue, and he's like, part I deny. The picture's definitely me. What do you think? Wearing comically oversized lopsided breasts. Okay, look, we're not here to judge, you know, he might just be getting this fetish off the ground. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think everybody perfects it right out of the gate. This might, I don't know how long he's been at it, but, he might have progressed from balloons to a full prosthetic eventually and eventually looked like the time to make the donuts guy and everything you want to know about sex with afraid to ask. Complete with fake protruding nipples. Those are just the balloon knots. You just turn the balloons around and Anyways, to female members of the online fetish community, to an online fetish community. So they obtained hundreds of messages purportedly sent between the former Secretary of Homeland Security's husband and three women who are involved in the so-called bimbofication fetish scene. These are women who modify themselves to have like enormously cartoonishly big tits and a tiny teensy waist, and then I don't know if they go junk in the trunk or if that's narrow as well. I honestly, there are very few things I'm ignorant about, and I look forward to diving into this later to figure out what the hell. But The kink community involves people injecting their busts with freakishly large amounts of saline in a pursuit of a Barbie doll-like appearance. Almost as much filler as Noem uses in her lips, I think. The pictures show the South Dakota insurance mogul who has 3 children with Noem who are going to have a rough week at school, clad in pink hot pants and a skin tight, flesh colored crop top stuffed with enormous balloons made to resemble massive. Okay, that's uncalled for. Why would you? What again? Yeah, this is not like he lined it up. Massive cockeyed. That's just rude. You know what I mean? He didn't obviously have anybody to help him center the damn things. Like, what are you going to do? Why isn't he smiling? I think he was trying to get mm, let the other people on the other side know that he was serious about this. I don't know. Um, Massive cockeyed breasts. That is not a phrase I was expecting today in the news. Anyways. All right. So his face clearly visible in several of the photos, including one in which his expression is so mundane it could be from a driver's license photo. That's the one. There are hundreds of them. He's probably okay. In others, he flashes a more flirty, kissy face pose in which he's pursing his lips. The outlet spoke with oh, good God. Jolene, Jolene, Jolene. Please don't take my man. Um, One photo purportedly of the ousted DHS secretary's husband showed him in pink shorts and a pink top. So he's done this multiple times. Like this is multiple shared damaging information like this can be a tantalizing lead for a hostile intelligence service. You think? They approach the person and say, if you work with us, we won't expose this. And if you don't, we will. That's espionage 101. Well, kudos to him for saying, I'm not going to give you the secrets. My wife's job is rock solid. She's never going to be cut loose by this administration. I don't fear you. Release the photos. Oh shit, I didn't think you were actually gonna. Um uh this is horrifying. This might be worse than the other pictures. I don't know who I feel worse for, the dog or the bunny. Probably the dog, actually. Now that I think of it, definitely the dog. That dog is like, hi. There's a lot of other families around here. Do you mind if I fuck off before I end up dead? All right. By the way, of the two of these assholes, I'm no deference to Sean Spicer, in all deference to Sean Spicer, rather. This guy, insofar as we know, never killed an animal just for sport, just to fuck around, just to kill a dog because it was yappy. Like she doesn't even chart. Lesser of two evils, way down the totem pole of evil. Not even close. All right. So he reportedly chatted up women from the so-called bimbofication fetish scene. Is that them? Were they ever so young? Imagine. I'm guessing. There's no way that outfit she's wearing still fits because he probably tried it on right away afterwards. Okay. Noam, addressing shock voters in a statement, said that she is devastated. You know, as you mean like Iran's nuclear capabilities, or we're speaking sort of euphemistically. The family was blindsided by this, and they asked for privacy and prayers at this time. No. Okay. You're not going to get privacy and prayers at this time. First of all, I don't even know what the fuck I'm praying for. What for you? I think what if I have a prayer in this, it's that he can live the life he wants to live, and you can either deal with it or take it on the heel and toe. And like, what do you want to do? Shame this guy? All the shit she did as DHS secretary, the dog shooting, the like fake ice cosplay nonsense, and you think I'm gonna get upset because this guy had fake tits? Seriously? Don't get me wrong. I think I have the same visceral response that the rest of you are having. I'm just saying I don't judge it in the abstract. I just kind of go, ooh. The family was blindsided by this. He didn't. You're not looking back, thinking that there were clues along the way, because I gotta say, oftentimes I don't know if I buy the blindsided part. Okay. Blindsided. Christi Noem asked for prayers after husband's cross-dressing scandal. This is him. No, sorry. It could be for just $29.95. Yeah, implication. Noem was devastated. Her family was blindsided. The representative told the Post. I see. So she didn't say this directly. They heard through the grapevine that she's devastated. They uncovered hundreds of messages between Byron Noem and 3 women in the fetish scene. This is the part I was telling you about. Byron Noem did not deny the allegations of cross-dressing or sharing explicit messages in conversations with the male, but he did deny sharing indiscreet comments about his wife that could have endangered national security by exposing her to blackmail threats. I deny the second part of that. Well, what would those be? What's the indiscreet comments about his wife? That she doesn't have gigantic, cartoonishly large boobs? Is this it? That he was complaining that she has a relatively human-like figure? What's the snag, right? Okay, anyways. Christi Noem allegedly had a years-long affair with her advisor Corey Lewandowski while married. Okay, so again, so many victims. Imagine people getting upset at a woman modifying her body with filler. It must have been shocking to be blindsided by something like that happens. You find this out and you're like, I think it's atrocious.
This is some bullshit.
So so yeah. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the story I think we all didn't know we needed. But oh dear. um And I got to see if there's a story. I'm going to do the JD Vance interview in a minute, God help us. Which is, I got to say, I'm shocked that it was Byron Noem who was busted like this, because if I had any like caught cross dressing, my money on Polymarket would be on JD Vance for real. So earlier today, let's see. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, here we go. Let's go to this.
How's my mic?
Okay, and then let me go about what is it? Probably 10 minutes in. Okay, so there was a unhappy accident, I would suppose. I suppose in this circumstance of the online community, wherein some of the people that I do clips about on the regular, they stream on YouTube normally, or they stream on Rumble, and they make clips on Rumble and that kind of stuff. Or if they show, if they're a rare person, they show up on some other show as a guest. And our first clip tonight is from such a person, but it's from his own live stream where he accidentally, I guess in Restream or StreamYard or something, happened to anybody, clicked over the stream thing to the wrong channel. And he clicked on his YouTube. He normally doesn't stream there. And so it came up in my live feed while I was working on stuff and watching the awful that I have to watch to get prepared for the show. Okay. So this is this guy, Viva Fry. Viva Barnes Law. He's a lawyer of some sort or whatever. And this guy, Bandon Straka, is he's a MAGA influencer. He's one of these people who's like sort of one of the MAGA gay firebrands, like with the other dude with the long hair that does that, delivered Ohio or Indiana or whatever it was. Remember that guy? Okay. It's like this. Apparently, things are not going well. Apparently, they're having a bit of a dust up. And both of them are shocked, I tell you, that Trump is somehow doing stuff that they never thought he would do. I'm gonna needle drop this at about the 10-minute mark, just to give you an idea of. Let's see if where's this part of it? Yeah, might be an ad that pops in the middle of this, but we'll see. So we'll start about here. I'll give it a little lead because I didn't watch the whole thing. So, anyways, Viva Fry was a huge Trump booster and now feels betrayed, as stupid people who play 3-card Monte and lose their life savings on a card game on a street corner tend to feel.
Years after Charlie Kirk did, and Turning Point USA is probably 4 or 5 years older than we are. but it's kind of like a tale of two organizations, and we couldn't possibly have been treated more differently. When I look at like Turning Point USA and how they were so embraced by the administration, and like Donald Trump spoke at every Turning Point event, and all of the administration
Yeah, but there were more young women there. Sorry, continue.
and all of the people go and they participate and stuff. And walk away, which has been again, I think, so influential and so instrumental in helping the Trump administration. I mean, it's just been nonstop us being told no, 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 not invited, not included, not, and it's bizarre.
Is it though?
But yeah, in addition to that, we kept going. We kind of just continued to take it on the chin and
But the walk away is to get people to walk away from the Democratic Party, and I guess in his role, it's like get gay people to stop supporting the party that got gay marriage legalized and join the party that still wants to undo that law and deny people the right to see their loved ones in the fucking hospital if they're dying from a disease or have the right to pass on their their inheritance onto their partner or any of those kind of things, that kind of stuff. They're trying to erase that. I don't, I mean, it's good work if you can get it. It's not as lucrative as I think he thought it would be.
and keep doing our work and our just despite because it was never walkaway was never supposed to be about one administration
So it's never walk towards. We're not giving you a direction. We're just saying abandon ship.
or the Republican Party or about getting Trump reelected. But it always was very hurtful. I think not.
Mm. Really? That's not nice. Right? They work really hard to backdoor help Trump get elected, and he doesn't even recognize it unless it's this kind of crayons and hammers approach to just get people. I like people that love Trump, not leaving the Democrats. That's not enough. I like some of them. More than you guys even like. Sometimes it really screws with you guys when I say I like somebody all of a sudden. Gavin Newsom, I call him Newscomb, but every time I'm in his presence, I start fawning and get a little dewy spot in my pants. So it's hard to.
For whatever reason that we were being treated the way we were being treated. But yeah, I was singled out to be prosecuted on January 6th. I don't mean singled out as in the only one. I mean, other people were, but I am one of the only people who didn't go inside the building. And even the government was very, very clear that they were doing to me what they were doing to me because of my organization, my influence, and
Terrible.
that, I have a lot of people listening to me, etc. And so
Could be also that you helped organize the group that showed up there with the intent of storming up the stairs, and that's sort of a RICO charge when you bust people in. But you know what? Just forget what I said. Take it personally.
So when I got in trouble and then a lot of people in the conservative movement kind of turned their backs on me.
It's good. It's terrible. I don't know if I can take it.
It was shocking.
It was.
Because a lot of those people, as I mentioned in my CPAC speech, were clamoring.
Wait, you went to CPAC? Nobody goes to CPAC anymore. They wouldn't even let you go to TPUSA. You had to go to CPAC, where Matt Schlapp will grab you by the. That's not.
To be in my spotlight, when there wasn't trouble.
Stand in my spotlight while I wait for Daddy Trump to take me in.
But as soon as trouble arrived,
when trouble arrives,
a lot of these people scattered like rats.
Scattered like rats in the dark.
What's interesting is it's people might look and say, I don't know if they want to say that there's some sort of personal grievance.
Probably is. I would say it's organizational or something, but I think they just hate you, on a pseudo intellectual level, like just you're acting all smart, they're acting all smart, and they're only giving two fake smart people in a room at the same time. Never mind what I said. Go ahead.
There is and there should be, to the extent that You arguably, but not arguably, were likely persecuted by the Biden administration because you are an apostate, and those are the worst types. You know, they can punish the
January 6th happened during the Trump administration, before Biden was sworn in, and all the wheels that turned in the FBI going after him happened before Joe Biden took office, and he didn't actually. Never mind. Again, forget what I said. Please take it personally.
Sixers, who were always supporters, but an apostate needs to be particularly punished.
That's right. You're not being punished because the Democrats came after you, but because you're not MAGA enough.
You get punished. You continue to support Trump actively and vocally
So it's a fetish. Sorry, go ahead.
To 2024, where the
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
promises were retribution, and retribution not in a vengeful, unjust way, but retribution for the January 6th persecution. You know, retribution against.
I couldn't figure it out. I was trying to do the math in my head, how there's retribution for the January 6th persecution, which would be the pardoning of people and being better to them afterwards to get back at Biden for doing something awful. But honestly, if I think too much about it, I'll probably get an aneurysm and keel over.
Deep state actors. And it was a meme for the first year of the presidency where, you know, what has Pam Bondi done? Zero arrests, yada, yada. And we were all told to sit down, shut up, and wait. Don't be a panicant. Don't be a black pillar. Don't be a doom pillar.
That's right. Don't do it. We've got to come together. We've got to don't. Pam Bundy's doing the best she can, protecting Trump from the Epstein files. The rest is just got to take a backseat. That's a lot of work. I mean, get off her ass. She had to marshal 1,000 FBI agents to redact Trump's name out of the Epstein files. That's like a vampire only trying to drink your white blood cells. You know, it's gonna kill you, but it's gonna be a process. You know, it requires a lot of concentration.
Shut up and wait. Shut up and wait. It's March 2026. Midterms are around the corner.
Damn.
There has been literally, I mean, maybe not zero because what's his face? Mustache Man.
Oh, him. Yeah. I remember Mustache Man.
Bolton is facing charges. Maybe not.
No, he's not. They raided his house and they had it, and it didn't go anywhere. Like, it's not going anywhere. Same thing with Comey. It's going to get thrown out. There is no case. You're fucked.
Not zero because Comey faced a charge.
She did wait until the statute of limitations was almost up, so it could be literally pointed out to the judge it was for a political reason, even if it weren't. She's that big of a fuck up where if she finally got her shit together in time to go after Comey, she did it within a week of the statute of limitations running out, in which case she built in on top of whatever defense he had, which is, of course, has that Trump is going after him. But another example to give the judge, like, they only charged me because the statute of limitations was running out and they didn't have anything. They still don't have anything, Your Honor. You're right. Bye.
There's been zero done for the Russiagate.
Well, you see, okay, guys, I'm sorry. I got to tell you, they can't go after the people that went after Trump because of Russiagate, because it will open up all the evidence. You see, those people, if you try to put them on trial, they will, through discovery, be able to look at the grand jury testimony, the unreleased parts of the Mueller investigation, especially the parts that they were working on. So the closer you get to it, the more like get out of jail free card that they have, you dumbass. And Trump doesn't want you to look again because he skated by because Bill Barr wrote a summary and went, I've been exonerated. Don't talk about it anymore. You don't believe me? Tell me about Butler. Tell me about the shooting in Butler. Tell me about Donald Trump's interest in finding out about Thomas Crooks. See what I mean? He doesn't want you to look into it, stupid. This isn't a Democrat thing at all. This has fuck all to do with us.
Zero done to punish any of the people who were responsible for the Jan 6 persecution.
There wasn't a persecution. You run up steps on a public building and you beat cops and you take a shit in the rotunda and you steal shit, including a laptop. You try to sell to the fucking Russians. You get before a judge with 9 other people and you're the only one of the 9 that says, I'd do it again. And you get thrown in jail. And then while you're in jail, you spit on guards and go, catch COVID, motherfucker. And then you end up in isolation because that's what they do when prisoners do that. And suddenly it's fucking persecution. Fucking whine me a river. Jesus.
And instead, people are now being told, if you don't shut up and support another foreign war, another regime change, which seems to run contrary to what the folks like you were running.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like that.
We're supporting. You're an idiot. You're an apostate now. And you didn't realize that you were actually voting for what you think you were not voting for at the time.
There was you don't think that you were voting for the thing that you were not voting for? I don't know. There's a Gordian knot of reasoning there.
When you were supporting...
I get what he's trying to say. I just, like, it's so stupid that they have to fucking back into the room, like, and say, I'm leaving. That's what this is. Like, I'm leaving. This is me leaving. As they walk into the room. Try your best, dummy.
Trump, and you represent a big organization. Was it your understanding that
it's a junior organization? That's what his complaint is.
This is what you're getting, but was it your understanding that this is what you would be voting for when it came to foreign policy?
Of course it was. Okay. I'm not stupid. I could tell when the president, he said he was being sarcastic about stuff that he meant. That meant that anything that I thought he meant, he was being sarcastic from that point on. So I'm getting exactly what I voted for. Okay. Do you not understand how sarcasm works? I don't suppose you do.
Well, so, okay.
Yeah, there's just no way out. I'm going to look like an asshole here. There's just, what's my choice? Stupid or gullible? I don't know which one's better. Stupid sounds accidental. Gullible sounds like a weakness. I'm going to go with stupid.
Before I answer that, let's start.
Let's build a backstory where I can excuse my own idiocy.
Start off by, I think, sort of acknowledging how things have changed so much since, now I didn't vote for Trump the first time around. I voted for Hillary Clinton back in 2016, but I came around.
Look at Fry. What?
Very quickly. I mean, it was literally by 2017, I'd walked away from the Democratic Party and then eventually, came on board with Trump and MAGA. And so I was very much a part of MAGA.
A power sniffer? I mean, let's be honest. The tide was going Hillary's way. There was an assumption she was going to win. It was absurd that Trump was going to win. When he did, it was a shock to a lot of people. So of course you're, as a power sniffer, that's the way you're going to go. There's a ton of those people.
MAGA 1.0 from 2017, 2018, 2019, through 2020.
Through 2020? Really? You didn't go, hey, he's kind of fucking up this whole people dying at a higher rate in our country than other countries part.
And then I came on the scene.
Also, when did the lockdown start that you guys think was like the New World Order?
As the leader of the walkway movement and somebody who started walkway in 2018. I can tell you that the first MAGA go around is completely different.
No, not so much. 80% more civilian deaths in the first year of the Trump administration, last round, went on drone strikes because he removed the ROE on drone strikes. So there are more people, civilians killed in his first year in office than all 8 years of Biden with Afghanistan and part of Iraq going on. Was it really?
And felt completely different than it does.
And 1 million plus Americans, by the way.
In every conceivable way than it does today.
No, it's pretty much the same. I would say, he just moved COVID to the first year. Basically, he just chose to, and I think his only regret, Trump's only regret from his first term is that he stacked all of his major fuck ups in the last year. And the goal should have been put him in the first year, wreck everything, buy the dip, and then have somebody else fix it. How do you think that Cheney's got rich? Okay.
To answer your question more specifically,
please.
I thought that when Trump got back into office,
Oh, here it comes.
I took for granted that all of the things that he had been a little bit soft on the first time around,
He wasn't soft on. He just didn't get to implement the hard
he
version.
was not going to be soft on for two reasons. One, it's his second and final term. So he doesn't at this point really even have to appeal to a base to try to get reelected. But
Right, but he also didn't act like he gave a shit about his base then either. I mean, look at who the tax cuts were aimed at, stupid.
second of all, and most logically, I would think that there would be a sense of fury and a sense of vengeance based off the fact that they dragged this man into court.
I'm sorry. You think the things they dragged him into court over were lies or were untrue? Okay, sorry. That explains a lot. See, I'm sorry to break it to you, but all the things they drag him into court over was the least of it. He knew that once they started unraveling charges against him and the level of fraud that he was committing and the working with foreign governments, once they started unraveling that, it was way fucking worse. And you know what a great example is? The Epstein files. Use that as your placeholder, because his actions on everything else are perfectly mirrored in the Epstein files. He wants that to be over with, because if you knew the stuff that's there should have been disqualifying, but you guys have no morals, and I don't know what the fuck you think is somebody like him is going to do in a position of power. You must be out of your fucking mind. But that said, he knows that no matter how much you hate him, no matter how bad it gets, no matter how many times you look at Jeffrey Epstein's a fun guy and he has a great social life and he liked girls on the younger side, and I was never on his plane. Oh, I was on his plane 7 times. No, 12 times. Oh, he was on my plane too. I never went to the island, but basically he brought the island to me. I went over to his house. I never went to his houses, but and then an FBI report comes out. Actually, I did go to the house, but I think my wife was there, which, by the way, his wife is suing a reporter for saying that Epstein introduced her to Trump, which kind of fucks up that whole story for her, and gives more weight to Michael Wolff's countersuit against her. So he knows that no matter how bad that is, no matter how much you guys go, oh my fucking God, he's protecting pedophiles. He knows that what's in the files, if you ever were to see it, you'd go, oh my God, he is a pedophile. You see, we're only scratching the surface. The fraud that was brought out in the 39 charges against him, just the tip of the fucking iceberg. The loans he used to shore up these properties that were failing in the first place were backed through Deutsche Bank by Russia, by Vladimir Putin directly. He gave Deutsche Bank the money and said, you can loan this to Trump. I don't care if I get it back and you guys get the interest. It was money laundering. They got fined billions of dollars for doing it in a bunch of different cases, and this was just one. Asshole.
Convicted him of 30 some felony charges, indicted him on 90 some felony charges.
Right. And there were more charges had they been able to dig deeper, because they were the political reasons and all kinds of other stuff where he hid behind the fact that he was running for office, which I think is nuts, because holy shit, the next time I get pulled over for a traffic violation, I'll go, you can't charge me you can't give me a ticket. I'm running for mayor. I just decided.
Shot him in the head.
Okay, no. Again, Thomas Crooks shot at him, killed a couple of people, killed a man and wounded 2 others gravely at his thing. You guys never bring those people up. And winged him with a piece of glass off of his goddamn teleprompter. Ketchup. But on top of that, who the fuck is they? Thomas Crooks was upset that Trump never faced jail time. Is that where you're going? Over the fraud charges? And he was working as an agent of the Democratic Party? Well, why wouldn't Trump want every bit of information out about that guy then? Why wouldn't he just be digging into this guy's, all of his hidden social media accounts and his digital devices? And Trump's like, he already had some couple phones, but that's it. That's all. I just take what they say about it. Now that I've got somebody running the FBI on my behalf, whatever they say goes.
Raided his home.
He doesn't live there. It's a rental property. It's an event space, you dumb motherfucker.
Tried to civilly destroy his organization and his business,
Which I think he was just mad because that was his job.
and that he witnessed, some of his most loyal followers have their lives destroyed.
Oh, I'm sorry. You think he gives a shit about the Jan Sixers and that they're not just pawns on the table?
Through the very public January 6th spectacle.
Right.
So I took for granted that,
what a fucking douchebag.
items number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, were going to be him going in like a bull in a china shop and absolutely demanding that the FBI, the DOJ, any of these three-letter agencies be stripped bare, and absolutely drive out all of the bad actors in government. And that
and why wouldn't he? Except for the fact that the discovery process would fuck him into a cocked hat.
There would then be accountability and justice for the people who did these things to him, his family, and
yeah, they didn't do anything. That's the problem. Yeah. That's why you just want to, put it aside. So it's the same reason he didn't go after Hillary Clinton, because he knew she hadn't done anything wrong. And when he looked at it, he was like, oh shit, I attacked her using Russian money. She didn't do anything. And the more we look into it, she's not going to sit there in court and take it. She's going to throw all kinds of discovery in. And even if the judge throws it out, they'll just release it into the public.
His most loyal supporters. And not to mention, on a more, kind of tertiary sort of side peripheral, the things like,
he's a fucking criminal, dude.
Mark Zuckerberg deplatformed hundreds of thousands of Trump's supporters.
Well, bots.
And now he has a position in the administration.
Now do Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon stole money directly for his build the wall thing from maggots. He hung around with a fake Chinese dissident. Guo and Guai works for the CCP, you dumb motherfucker. I'm starting to and look at Viva. He's like doing his best to not put two and two together. Just don't do it. Don't do it. This is the problem with being a little too smart for your stupid mistake. A dumb mistake is okay because you're dumb and you made a dumb mistake because you didn't know any better. A stupid mistake hurts, and especially when you're like, oh shit, I made a stupid mistake. You can feel it and you can go, oh, do I make another one by doubling down on it and hope I get away with it, which is stupid? Or do I try to walk my way out of it by pretending I meant to do that, like a cat falling off a windowsill? Or do I admit it like a fucking man and go, oh, I was just had. Obviously, he's guilty of all these fucking things. He's an adjudicated rapist for a reason. He got convicted of those charges because a jury heard the evidence that I intentionally did not pay attention to. And he's probably done all the stuff that's in the Steele dossier too, because why would I be fucking surprised? He was friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 27 fucking years.
None of those people have been replatformed. None of those people, it wasn't just, people playing around on Facebook. People lost their businesses.
Well, what was their business? I think more people lost their businesses related to Trump because they were doing unlicensed MAGA hats and he stepped on them than lost their businesses because, and what business are we talking about? Nazi summer camp?
People who had businesses that were powered by their Facebook accounts.
Aren't smart enough to create a new LLC and post it and not go, try my cookies, but remember, vaccines are murder and they'll turn your babies into alien alligator zombie babies. And don't do it.
Are gone. These are some of Trump's most loyal supporters.
Yeah, but maybe they just forgot their password. They're not very bright, obviously.
And
not that you're stupid if you forget your password, but I mean, it's password. You know their password is password.
now Mark Zuckerberg, he's rewarded by being
Wait, do Bill Gates
invited to the inauguration. He's constantly being invited to the White House, and now he has a position in the administration.
Oh God, it's so brutal.
Meanwhile, all the people who supported Donald Trump have lost their accounts, their
Must feel like assholes.
online businesses, and nothing is said about that. It's just like, what the hell is going on?
Exactly what was going to happen, asshole. He's an elitist New York real estate second generation rich kid prick who palled around with pedophiles and excused the violence of Vladimir Putin and MBS like it was a fucking prank. Again, at a certain point, where's the tipping point where it goes from, oh, he's awful, but I'm really fucking dumb. Like there's got to be a window. There's a saying in the FBI that most people meet their serial killer halfway, meaning that by not having situational awareness, by hitchhiking down a road in the dark, or by not checking their back seat if they've been getting threatening notes and those kind of things, that they kind of do half the work for that person. And it wouldn't take much if they just went up and while they're unlocking their car or whatever, if they're just looking around, the serial killer will often go, okay, not them, I'll find they move on to the next victim, right? If you do some crazy Ivans in your life, which I highly recommend, do some stuff that's out of the ordinary, it's a good idea. If you're ever concerned about stuff, it doesn't hurt. Just take a different route to work, right? Just go on and take a side street. Even if it's around the block, I got some time. I'll avoid this traffic by going this way and this way. It's not a bad idea. So you don't meet them halfway. Again, because you don't want to make their job easier. Both of these dipshits are slowly but surely, I mean, this is an ego catastrophe for them, because they're having to it must be very hard to like strip off the mask and be staring in the mirror and go, oh shit, I'm the idiot.
Well, when you say it out loud, and I'm saying, what the hell is going on myself? Like, people out there are going to say, all you do is complain.
Oh, yes. Well, no, not all you do is complain. Up to this point, all you did was act like the sun shined out of his ass and the spray tan you were getting wasn't shit.
Well,
they can say whatever they want.
Damn. Way to be tough.
No, I mean, like, first of all, like, you don't get better through not having constructive criticism. You want to, for
okay. I'm sorry. Like, get why I had to needle drop this with chat room. Hit the like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks, Mega Worldwide. That goes on forever. And I got to tell you, as long as Donald Trump is in office, that's never going to stop. Congratulations, maggots. You played yourself. Okay, let's move on to, like, because all the clips that get pulled and all the stuff that's going on. This is not. It's just I got it. All right. We'll get this one. Hold on. There are a couple of things. We'll see this one. They put Rubio in a corner. Can I show you this? Well, before we go on to the next round of maggots complaining about the situation that they got themselves in. This, I don't know if they're trying out an AI version of Rubio, or they just are allowing him to, like, he's got to keep his hands below the desk because it's an IV. But this is about Iran. So they're tired of having Trump say what he's been saying about it because they can't figure out what the fuck he's going to say from day to day. So they're putting out an official statement. This was 2 hours ago. From day one, the mission was crystal clear. Was? Yeah, I guess was. It's not now. Now that we're in it. This was the final chance to wipe out Iran's threat. It's the final chance? Really? Really? You think in the future we wouldn't have been able to? Okay, all right, tough guy. Tell us why.
Many Americans are asking, why did the United States have to attack Iran now?
No. Did we? And then why now? Like, did we have to attack Iran? Is the primary question. Why now is secondary to that. Please continue, asshat.
Well, let me explain.
Well, good.
Iran wants to have nuclear weapons. Of that, there is zero doubt.
Well, then why did their Ayatollah put a fatwa on having one? Why did he rule it out specifically? And then why did they sign the deal and stick to it until Trump tore it up? It sounds like after he tore it up, they took him very seriously and they went, "We've got to have a nuke or this motherfucker's going to kill us." And that's exactly what happened. And that when he came back into office, they weren't rattling their sabers like this or developing the program while Biden was in with the thought that maybe we would jumpstart this and we'd seen the last of Trump. But then when he got back in, they're like, "Oh shit, he's going to do it." And then they started working as fast as they can. That's why alleged they would be 2 weeks away.
If what they truly wanted, which is what they claim, is nuclear energy, well, they could have nuclear energy like all the other countries in the world have it. And that is
No, they can't, because he tore up the deal and said they can't.
you import the fuel and you build
No, you don't have to import the fuel. No, other countries don't have to import their fuel. They can enrich it.
reactors above ground. That's not what Iran has done. They build their reactors and their facilities deep in mountains.
Well, I mean, if you're going to have a meltdown, I think that's the great way to protect yourself, right?
Away from the public glare. And they want to enrich that material. The same equipment that they could use to enrich material for energy, they could use to quickly enrich it to weapons grade.
Right. But we had a deal in place where there would be inspectors, and that's why they're in mountains in the first place.
So it is clear that they've been offered every opportunity to
No, they had an opportunity and they took it. And Trump tore it the fuck up. And it's a little hard to make a deal with a person who tore up the last one.
have a nuclear program,
Especially when he parks 3 fucking battle groups off your shore and has been full of shit in his negotiations previous.
that allows them to have energy, not weapons. And every single time they have turned it down. But why the attack now? Well, what was Iran trying to do?
I don't know, but they banged 2 rocks together. You said you obliterated their nuclear threat last year. Obliterated was the word. Obliterated.
Iran was trying to build a conventional shield, in essence, have so many missiles, have so many drones that no one could attack them. And
Instead of nukes. So they were building a defensive military to protect themselves in case they were attacked instead of having nukes. Because they were like, we don't have a nuke. Every time we try to build a nuke, we're not going to do it. So if we're going to protect ourselves, if we can't use the threat of nuclear weapons, we're going to have standard ballistic weapons like the US and Russia and China and everybody else, and Israel and Europe.
they were well on their way.
Again, what choice do they have? Now, especially?
We were on the verge of an Iran that had so many missiles and so many drones that no one could do anything about their nuclear weapons program in the future.
Well, you could nuke them before it got done. That would be the thing. That's where that's the bargaining chip you have instead of that they don't have.
That was an intolerable risk.
Yeah, a risk is not an imminent threat.
Under no circumstances can a country run by radical Shia clerics with an apocalyptic vision of the future ever possess nuclear weapons.
What about a decaying old fart with a brittle ego and a tiny little mushroom dick, who desperately wants to leave a legacy behind that makes him look macho, and also believes that he has the right to take the oil of other countries and has been saying it for decades because at heart he's a robber baron who couldn't accomplish anything on his own if he hadn't been a second generation rich kid. What if your country is run by someone like that?
And under no circumstances can they be allowed to hide and protect that program and their ambitions behind a shield of missiles and drones that no one can do anything about.
Well, again, they're supposed to have a porous national defense in case someday we attack because we think they're having a nuke, even if they're not.
This was our last best chance to eliminate that conventional threat, that conventional shield that they were trying to build.
So what's going to be the level? Like, they can't have missiles that'll reach Israel. Is that going to be the line? So they can bomb the fuck out of the UAE if they decide to, or every ship in Hormuz, or just provide those missiles to like Taliban and other people and the Pakistani Shia militias in the mountains so that they can just fucking attack major cities because it's not us. So who gives a shit?
president made
I'm sorry. I got to watch it. I don't want to give him any ideas.
the right decision to wipe it out now. That is the goal.
Mr. Rubio, we had a time allotted for your oral report, and you have gone over time. You didn't actually reach the point in the time allotted, so I'm going to have to dock you an entire grade. The problem is F is the bottom, so I'm going to have to talk to the school about giving you a later consonant.
Of this operation to destroy their conventional missiles and their drone program so they can't hide behind it and finally have to deal with the world seriously about.
Again, so the clear goal from the very beginning is Iran can't have a military. That's the goalpost move.
Never ever having nuclear weapons.
So goodbye. Yeah. That was not the issue. You guys obliterated it last year. Did I miss something? Did we all? Okay. Hit the like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Subscribe, will you? Good God. I gotta do something rather than just sit through this shit. It's the least you can do. Okay, man. Yeah, that whole thing. It's all
Dumb, stupid.
That's what it is.
Dumb, silly, stupid, dumb, dopey, dippy, dumb, stupid, really dumb, moron.
All right. So, now we've come to the time in the show where if you've got a piece of black cloth, I would drape it over your head. Whatever system you use for mourning, please be prepared to do it. Light a candle, blow one out. I don't know what it is. None of my business. I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum, except Christi Noem's. But not her husband's, but hers. Anyway, so it should come as no surprise that Alex Jones is one of the folks that is going through it right now. The guy who spent his entire life pretending that there's some sort of deep state organization that's running the world, and Donald Trump was the solution. Remember that? Check this title out, ladies and gentlemen. Let that soak in for a second. Just marinate on that one for a minute. You hate to see it. Breaks your heart. Sadly, the Trump we all know and loved no longer exists. Well, none of you knew him, and I can't stand him. So have at it. Okay, it's Rumble, so there's going to be some ads. I'm sorry.
There's one simple sugar hack anyone can use to reset their blood sugar almost overnight.
Apple cider vinegar and chia seeds.
Listen up, men. Ditch the blue pill.
I'm not inserting that into the little tiny hole at the end of my...
When your ankles swell up 3 times the size they were
Oh, boy.
before, that means heart failure.
Wow. We went straight to fucking cankles. That's amazing. I'm shocked. Right out of the gate. Yeah, hold on.
When your ankles swell up 3 times the size they were before, that means heart failure.
Yeah, that's the only evidence we have so far that Trump actually has one.
And he does look sick.
So no change.
And he does babble and, sound like the brain's not doing too hot.
Well, in the winner of the Takes One to Know One award.
And so we just cut bait on Trump and we just mobilize against the Democrats.
Yep, that's what you got to do, because all the people that supported him are still in office, and they're still going to sign on to everything that he does. And if the Iran war comes up for a vote, every friggin' maggot in office is going to vote for it, and you're going to vilify any Republican that doesn't, even though you're against it. Knock yourself out.
And we
please, God, please, Alex Jones and a cascade of dickheads that follow in his wake. Please, for the love of Pete, try to do MAGA without Trump. Knock yourself out. I'm so excited about that idea. Run Tucker Carlson in 2028. Do it.
Against neocons, we primary them, and we just...
It's a great idea. We'll do purity tests.
fight even harder because look at how we've turned the tide. Look at all the good we've done. There's a
the tariff. Oh, no, the no more Iran. Oh no, okay. The no more regime. Fuck. The price of gas. Shit. Interest rates are shit. Stock market. Oil price. Hey.
We're turning. Populist, nationalists, conservatives are winning everywhere. There's a Christian reawakening.
No, they're getting drummed out of office by actual Democrats.
And Trump is just a minor figure in all of that.
Yes, he is. Now, cascade down past his teeny tiny little penis to his ginormous puffy ankles.
And we have to be appreciative.
I want to know. I'm sorry. I got to get this off the cry, please. I can't even. But I wonder how Trump feels about the idea that if he ever had a Lincoln type statue, it would have cankles. And you'd have maggots all over the country making the Hajj pilgrimage to go see it and sign his cankles. Everybody, that's what you bring. You bring a red, white, one of those pens that's a Sharpie that writes in red, white, and blue at the same time, and you sign his cankles.
But the old Trump that went through so much and got so much done, and that's the Trump we remember. And we're
yeah, you mean the one you made up in your fucking head?
Just sad because that happens. We need to be sad about Trump. This is not funny.
It's kind of funny. It's actually really funny. It's not funny.
This is not good.
Not good.
But he's gone.
Gone. He's gone. Never coming back. Especially because he was never really here to begin with. It's like one of those ghost stories where you pick up a hitchhiker in the middle of the night. She leaves a blue sweater in your car, and you're like, that's Carol. She died in a car accident 10 years ago. She's been haunting that stretch of road forever. It's like, that's what Donald Trump is.
And that's it.
That's it. That's all. He's gone.
And all.
I can't tell if I'm sniffling because of tears or I got a big whack of Adderall caught in my nostril. Probably both.
The people rallied around him. You can see Hegseth's freaked out.
Yeah, but that's how he normally is. So, snafu.
You can see the press secretary's freaked out. They're being loyal.
Because they don't have a choice? Because he can shoot them in the middle of Fifth Avenue?
They think it's the lesser of two evils, and okay, but
maybe it is. Maybe I'm just saying Harris wouldn't have gotten us into this shit. What am I doing? Why am I even saying this out loud? What am I even doing? Anyways.
Trump needs intervention.
Yeah. Maybe you should start drinking.
He needs to take some time off.
Like about the rest of his life.
We need to pray for Trump that the Holy Spirit touch his heart.
But not too hard, because it might pop. Fucking fish sandwiches.
And loose him from whatever evil control he's under. I'm serious.
Yeah, you don't sound serious, but I believe that you are. There's a demon. A demon that sneaks up in the middle of the night, crawls up next to Trump while he's sleeping a half hour a night, and crawls up into his ear and whispers, potatoes and chicken. And he just wakes up, grabs his phone and goes, tariffs! How do you fight a demon like that? What are we supposed to do?
Keep an eye out for the end times.
Probably that's what we got to do. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. How am I going to get through this?
You're going to frack.
Well, all right. Maybe that's how I do it.
I think that's the answer. We need to pray for President Trump.
You might want to be specific about that, because some people are going to, what they pray for might not be good. Just saying. Oh, dear Lord, blessed be your name and all your tear from us these abominations, and let the fish sandwich do its business. I'm just saying, I'm not sure that you might want to give a little more instruction. Right?
We need to.
He's sweating because they had to turn off the HVAC in the studio because he can't afford it anymore. Sorry.
We need to
stop sweating all over the place because you took too many stimulants before the show and they make you sweat? Maybe.
Pray for other people to be awakened.
And bring you a sponge.
We need to pray for justice and peace because we're in so much danger.
We are. So much danger. There's danger all around us. When did Alex Jones become Vincent D'Onofrio in Men in Black?
Sugar in water. Had a cat, a wonderful cat. It was a joy to be around. I've been looking for it for a long time. Best cat I ever had.
Would you like something?
Sugar in water.
It's not. I gotta. Don't think it's all bad news. Trump's doing some stuff for these guys. He's showing his diaper again. You guys love this. Don't cry. He's signed another executive order. I mean, I know that this little part here in the bottom of the page says it doesn't create new laws or actually do anything legal and doesn't establish a new legal precedent in any way, and Congress has to do that. But that doesn't have to matter. It's 2 pages, page and a half, page and a third out of Project 2025. That should make you happy, right? Don't cry. Don't cry, maggots. I'm sure this one will help you out. It's going to change things. This is going to bring down the cost of doing drugs in your own home while eating eggs, just running an engine in the driveway 24 hours because gas is so cheap. We will begin shortly.
Mail-in up.
Okay. Oh, he's going to write an executive order on mail-in ballots, which will have zero effect on anything, by the way.
Well, thank you very much. This was a meeting set up very proudly by us.
It's not a meeting. You're just bringing the press in. You're not meeting with the press. You don't actually have meetings with the press. Well, I mean, that's not true. You have Benny Johnson come over and you tell him what to say, but
To do with voter integrity and mail-in ballots and stopping the massive cheating that's gone on.
So how are you going to get, Republicans elected? Seriously, are you going to finally arrest everybody in the villages?
And so we're going to be signing an executive order. It's, I believe it's foolproof.
No, it's crafted by fools, so probably not.
And maybe it'll be tested, maybe it won't. I think it's very obvious what
I think it's probably going to be tested.
said. And I'll ask Will Scharf to start off, attorney.
Tell me what I'm signing.
A great talent, a very brilliant young man. And if you could
explain what I'm signing.
Discuss it, and then I'm going to ask Howard Lutnick to say a few words, and then I'm going to sign it.
Why would Howard Lutnick be a part of this? Oh, sorry, he was just there. You guys were having lunch and reminiscing about how much fun you had at the island.
And we'll take a couple of questions.
Thanks for the super chat. By the way, great way to support the show. Super chats. There's the Venmo right there if you want to send me a cup of coffee, something like that. I got to tell you, these days off because of the current unpleasantness over the last 6 months have hit hard. It's a good time. Anyways.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. President, as you said, you have in front of you an executive order that deals
that you could have read about because there's a note written about it right in front of you that you apparently wrote what you were going to say about it. But fuck it. We just give you stuff to sign because you're too stupid to figure these things out. And you keep saying auto pen.
With a number of issues relating to election integrity. As you've consistently identified, two of the biggest problems we have with election integrity in this country
are that you got elected.
Are one, inaccurate voter rolls that allow ineligible people to vote in various federal and state elections all
that doesn't happen
over the country. And then secondarily, you've consistently identified that vote by mail in this country has become rife with fraud.
With zero proof.
People returning ballots who aren't eligible to return ballots.
Yeah, never happened.
Ballots being sent to people who aren't confirmed to be eligible voters.
Yeah, no. And never returned, by the way, even in the situation, this is during COVID, obviously, when they blanketly everybody had to vote by mail. Not going to be a problem this fall, not a major factor. And there'll be more maggots that end up getting disenfranchised by his rules. So shrug.
So what this executive order is going to do is, one, we're going to take federal data. We're going to ensure that each state's election officials are provided with a comprehensive view of who the eligible voters in their jurisdiction actually are, allowing them to properly verify that everybody voting in their...
Okay, they're going to send a list of every citizen in a state over the age of 18 and under the age of 150, I suppose, just to clarify. And they're going to mail them a list. Here's all the people in your state, and
elections is legally able to vote, and then it orders the Postmaster General, the U.S. Postal Service, to take bold new measures to verify that ballots both being sent to people are being sent to people who are eligible to vote, and then the ballots being returned or being properly returned by eligible voters only. And we believe that,
yeah, the postmaster isn't has no jurisdiction over that. They can't even tell. How the fuck is the postmaster supposed to know if somebody is eligible to vote at a particular address? What are you talking about? You don't think that like any court challenges is like, why does the postmaster get to check my fucking mail whether I deserve to get it or not? You're kidding, right? You can fucking sign it. It isn't gonna do shit.
combined, the measures in this executive order will help secure elections and
They won't do shit. Here's the problem they have. Maggots aren't going to vote this fall because they're mad at him, but also they've had a problem with the drop off of some of their vote because they don't trust the elections. And if he's not involved, they think that there's no way there's going to be, enough people to show up and get him, the support he needs or get him elected or keep his legacy going or whatever the fuck they want to say. So they are not going to show up. And part of it is because they think, well, my vote's not even going to count anyways. All these illegals are voting and stuff. So you've got to tell them that, no, we're handling that part. So your vote will count. So show up.
future and ensure that the many abuses of our election system in the past aren't repeated in future elections.
Right?
Yeah, I don't want to have any effect on that at all.
Howard?
So the fundamentals of our democracy are built on voter integrity, right?
Oh, yeah? So you voted and you have no integrity. What does that tell us?
We all need it. You've said it time and time again. It's a total agreement amongst everybody. So here's the idea. The states, right, run these elections. They
Right, that's in the Constitution.
will, if they want to use the U.S. mail, U.S. Postal Service, they're going to get a code, a barcode from the U.S. Postal Service, and they're going to put that on the envelope.
They already do that. They already do that. The states with the most vote by mail, the biggest populations, California already has that. It lets you know when your ballot's turned back in. It'll notify you on your fucking phone.
And we will have one envelope per vote. None of this time where we have no idea, there's no observers to mail, there's no envelopes, there's no certainty. That's
Okay, that will have zero effect on it. What are you talking about? If the argument is you can cheat with mail, what difference does it make? If you're writing your vote in for your grandmother, what difference does it make if there's a barcode or not?
all going to go
I mean, I guess that's what they're hoping for. It's like these all look like they're limitations when they actually aren't.
away. And what the president is doing today is he's going to make sure that mail-in ballots are safe, secure, and accurate, and will have a clear distinction.
They already are.
If you voted by mail, you will have it on the envelope. Obviously not on the ballot, but on the envelope. So we will know 1 million mail-in ballots. There'll be 1 million envelopes, and you'll be able to know.
Yeah, that's usually how it works. There's actually 2 million envelopes, fuckwad. There's the one that gets it to you and the one you send it back in. Is there going to be a code on this to match both envelopes? Is that where you're going? Guess what? That already exists too. Jesus, these guys are fucking dumb.
Exactly, correctly.
Again, this has nothing to do with stopping liberals from voting as much as they might have told Trump it is. It's really to get maggots to vote because they're checking out.
Citizens voted.
And this came up with some great legal minds. They looked at the various documents and everything that was going on because
Yes, the various legal documents and things of that nature.
the cheating on mail-in
Notice how lately he's been pursing his mouth like this so it looks like a chimp's butt. I don't understand that, but I have noticed it increasing. Maybe it's his way of like marshaling the saliva in the back of his mouth.
voting is legendary. It's horrible what's going on.
Mm-hmm. It is legendary. The tale of Bigfoot voting.
And
UAPs voting all over the place. The Greys showing up and they all share one ballot. What the fuck is up with that? Is it a hive mind kind of a thing?
it's very clearly
10 million aliens, one vote. Is that how it works?
covered very, very clearly. So I think this will help a lot with elections. We'd like to have voter ID. would like to have proof of citizenship, and that'll be another subject for another time. We're working on that. You would think it would be easy. It's a 98% issue for Republicans. It's 86%. The thing just came out, a poll, and it's 86%.
He just added the 6% because 86 is stuck in his head because he's been bitching about Comey lately or something.
With Republicans and Democrats, not leaders, because the leaders of the Democrats cheat. And
why would they cheat? If the voters, how do they... If Democrats like re-elect the same people, all right.
And the only people that don't want to do voter ID are people that cheat. There's no other reason for it.
Well, no, it's a poll tax. It's a guaranteed way of making sure that people that don't have money or the recourse can't vote. And it takes a right into the realm of privilege, which is a slippery slope, legally speaking, that if you can do that, you can also set up other tests or other limitations on votes. If we can charge you $19 or $115 or $120 for a passport or an ID or something like that, and you need that for your right as a citizen to vote, then we can also set up other fees. And then we can stack those fees until it's impossible for anybody who's poor to vote, which is exactly the Republican goal.
Proof of citizenship, they want to be able to cheat. There's no reason. They have all sorts of reasons, excuses, but it's all nonsense. They want to cheat. But the Democrats themselves are very high. It's a very positive, very, very good thing. The Democrat voters, the Democrat leaders, guys like Schumer, who are corrupt, they...
Also, then why don't you just put up a voter ID bill all by itself and provide funding either through a tax refund or a direct payment if you need it to get an ID? Whatever the fee is, the government will cover it. Do that. Chicken shit. Do that. If it costs you money to get a state ID, a driver's license, or if you don't drive, look at all of Manhattan. If you don't drive, you need an ID, right? Or a passport. The passport is a proof of citizenship, whereas a driver's license, you can get a regular driver's license, a commercial driver's license if you're a legal resident alien, or if you've got a green card and those kind of things. So I don't know why that's the standard. I think every American should automatically get a passport or a passport card, an American citizen card that you have. And then if anybody misuses it, 5 years in jail, just like if you voted in somebody else's name. Like, we're good. Democrats have real ID. We're making sure everybody has one. Maggots aren't.
They want to use it for cheating because their policy is so bad with, think of their policy, open.
All right, open borders, men and women's sports, transgender for everybody. All right, same kind of garbage. But this is, I guess they have to fight on some level for, I don't know, vilify our side with something, right? Okay, there's one other things. That's rough. Let's see, hold on 1 second. Okay, hit the like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Now, where is our JD Underpants thing? Where is it? Lady Vance. There it is. The Lady Vance interview. I think I just came up with that, but I like it. No deference to ladies. No, no disrespect. Hold on. Okay, that one's next. Okay, hold on. Actually, I want to do this one first. Sorry. The Greg Kelly stuff is the most miserable man on the internet. Not looking good, buddy. Not looking good. This is not faring well. And how long is this one? Oh, this is the longest clip in a long time. This is almost 5 minutes. Not quite, but almost. Is it over or just beginning? This is the end of the beginning of the end, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Kelly, the most miserable man on the internet. And if you don't believe me, sit in his easy chair or follow him home on the bus.
We begin with Iran. Hey,
I'm doing news voice.
We're at war pretty much, so
okay, that's a drop.
We begin with Iran. Hey, we're at war pretty much, so
we're at war pretty much. So it's just so Cronkite. We're at war. Pretty much.
I think it's worthy, don't you? And is it over or is it just beginning? Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. It's a little over and a little just beginning. Pretty much. This is one of those guys who gets really caught up in his theme music, I think.
We are right now at 30 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the end of the original expiration date.
I heard an interesting statistic today. They said
An interesting statistic?
average war, if you added up all the wars, lasts about 3 years. So this is kind of...
Well, this isn't a war, and that might be why. Now do military operations and shit like that. This one's way over.
Of a microsecond in comparison.
Yeah, it's tell me that when we're out.
President Trump said 4 to 6 weeks at the outset. I think we're on track. There is a scenario, however, that takes this thing longer. We'll get
Yeah, it's a scenario.
to that in a
scenario.
moment. So far, we know what we've done. Hey, we took out their Navy. We've taken out their missiles. We've taken out their nukes for the most part.
Yeah, don't show me the same boat over and over, dummy.
What next? It's unclear.
Well, can't argue with that.
Keep an eye out for the end times.
That's we're just near the we don't know.
Not good.
Okay.
It's a little bit unclear. We don't
A little bit, pretty much unclear.
know who we're negotiating with.
Are you quoting the Iranians now, or
A lot of folks don't. You know,
a lot of folks don't? How about the people that matter? Maybe the people that are actually doing the negotiation? Sorry. If I see Steve Witkoff, should I go, are the negotiators in the room with us right now? Do you smell almonds?
Very first night, we took out Khamenei, the Ayatollah.
The Hamani, that meanie.
He was gone.
Yes, we killed a man in his 80s. Where did we ever find the strength?
And in a weird way, we were kind of like a victim of our own success.
That's what it is. You know what? It's not that we're sick of this war, it's that we're tired of winning.
That was great that he was gone, but with him gone and the other guy gone and everybody seemingly gone, who do you deal with?
I guess you just don't deal. You just, I guess blow up everything.
They just explode.
Right? That's the problem with their leadership.
Who's in charge right now in Iran?
You're showing MS Now fucking clips, you chintzy bastard. How dare you? How dare you shit on these networks and then use their stuff?
A new supreme leader been chosen yet?
Who is in charge? What do we know about who is running Iran right now? Who's running the place?
I don't know, really. I'm fearless. Well, we've got a couple of engineers, don't you know? And if you'd like us to send them down, I mean, it's not leadership, but we'll keep the phones on. Is that right? Is it okay with that?
And who will the...
And who are you, by the way? Are you really you're in Kuwait. That's what it says. But how do I know?
Gulf states, if at all, be dealing with?
All right. I know they're all fake news, but it is actually a reasonable question.
I know they're all fake news, but they're the only ones doing the real journalism. And what the fuck do you expect me to do to piggyback on? RAV?
Who's in charge? This is so much better, though, than what we were dealing with in Iraq.
That's their standard? How?
We invaded in March of 2003. Shock and awe, right?
Yep. Very much like what we saw in the beginning of this.
It was actually intended to take out Saddam and his top lieutenants that very night. But we spent a year trying to track down these guys.
Yeah, and then he was basically hiding and not running things anyways. Didn't matter.
2 years for the others. Some we still haven't found, actually. Saddam Hussein almost...
Yeah, they might be under rubble.
A year later. So this, in comparison, is doing very, very well.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's lining up exactly like the timeline of Iraq, except for the old guy, supreme leader, was killed and it took a year to get him. The rest of it is exactly the same.
Is it
number of Marines being shifted down? We're not going to do boots on the ground. Oh shit, yes we are.
over, or is it just beginning?
You've been saying that. I saw the thing at the top of the thing. Jesus Christ, man.
Not good.
There's this.
All right, tell me, what is it?
I hadn't factored it in, and
oh boy.
Maybe it's a rumor. Maybe it's an educated guess.
What do we expect? You're on Newsmax. That's why you're playing clips from MS Now for a real fact.
President Trump has always been committed and frustrated when previous military actions in the Middle East did not seize the oil.
Ah, I see. So the real mission isn't eliminating their nukes or getting rid of their military altogether. It's moving those things out of the way so that we can seize their oil, like the robber barons of old.
He has said it a million times that...
Yeah, and it was stupid every time he said it. It's a war crime. It's grotesque. Why would you want it? If you just move the country towards renewables, we wouldn't need it in the first fucking place, and it wouldn't require us killing millions of people, and then those millions of people wouldn't have oil to rely on because the entire globe would move in that direction, and eventually they'd have to play nice amongst their neighbors because they didn't have a choice. They didn't have this free flow of money coming in to pay for the oil.
Every kind of phase of his political life.
When I heard that we were first going into Iraq, some very smart people told me, well, we're actually going for the oil.
No, they didn't. Who's the very smart people?
And I said, all right, I get that. I get that. There's nothing else. I get it. We didn't take the oil because...
No, asshole, there were protests and people were saying, no blood for oil, no war for oil. The very smart people were the people that could see through the Bush administration and Cheney and going, oh shit, we're just doing this about oil and we don't like that. The very smart people were the protesters going, fuck that.
They took the oil that when we left Iraq, I said we should have taken.
Right, because you're piggish and stupid.
So now ISIS has the oil.
No, they didn't.
4 years ago, I said bomb the oil and take the oil.
In that order. Because I think when you bomb oil...
They just explode.
Right.
And if we did that, they wouldn't have the wealth they have right now. Well, we should have kept the oil when we got out. And you know, it's very interesting. Had we taken the oil, you wouldn't have ISIS. The old expression,
bullshit.
To the victor belong the spoils. You remember I always used to say, keep the oil.
It's kind of interesting.
It's kind of stupid.
He has said it a lot.
Right, and it's awful. It's wrong. I mean, but only if you have morals and ethics. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
And could that be on his mind right now?
Well, on what's left of his mind, I think.
What relevance does that have? Well,
yeah, I mean, he's a broken record, I guess.
A couple of things. We are
thank you so much, Treva.
In a position potentially to either destroy
appreciate you too.
Their oil producing capacity. We have all the oil we need.
Nope. No, we don't. We would if we'd have stuck with electric cars and wind and geothermal and solar and pushed for that kind of stuff. We were moving in the right direction, dickhead. We use 19 million barrels a day and we produce about 13.5.
Why would we want to take the oil? Aha.
To sell it and take the money?
Here's a possibility.
We're going to pay off our national debt by seizing the resources of other countries? What are we, fucking Spain?
China relies on the oil. Big time. From the Persian Gulf. Now, do me a favor and drop that banner. We rely on...
Drop that banner? Oh, I
the
see.
Chip.
You can see it. Yeah, I couldn't see China for that. I didn't understand what you're...
That come from this little place, Taiwan. Taiwan is...
It's a fucking iPad. Okay.
Is kind of its own...
Hey, Greg, Rachel Maddow has below her desk, has 2 screens built in below the desk that she can look to that have her notes. And then she's got written notes on top of that. And you're alone in a garage with an iPad.
One country, but kind of not.
Fuck you. Taiwan 是一个国家.
China.
Taiwan is a country.
China has been interested in invading Taiwan for a very long time. We don't want that to happen, but we're kind of vague about it because
Trump likes China more than he likes and Russia more than he likes Europe.
Well, that's the arrangement. If China were to invade Taiwan,
they'd lose 1 million people in a day.
Well, they would have all of the chips for AI.
No, they wouldn't.
Basically, all the good chips for AI come from Taiwan.
All right, look, I know people are worried about AI taking people's jobs, but is it wrong that I pray that AI will take his? It can't possibly be dumber.
What would we do if they had all those chips? What would we
We'd continue to make them in Silicon Valley, actually?
do? Well, if we have the oil, we could possibly have a bit more leverage with China. I think that.
Or if we cut off their oil, they might just decide to blockade Taiwan so we can't get the chips, because that would be their, beg your pardon, only chip to play.
Makes a lot of sense. I hope it doesn't get to that place. You know, I feel like President Trump and Xi aren't out to screw each other, but
you are a silly person.
Never know. It's just one scenario. President Trump has been awfully emphatic about keep the oil.
All right, that's the out. My God. So the upside is that we might be, this might be a terrible idea, but we might end up in the end just becoming resource pirates. That's better, I guess. Hit the like, share the show. It's House Sparks Mega Worldwide. Thanks very much, Nina. Yeah. No chips, no nachos, but there's going to be taco trucks on every corner. All right, so here we go. This, I don't know what to watch for in this interview.
Keep an eye out for the end times.
I'm sure that's part of it. But saving Western civilization by fighting demons. Will we survive? Demons, you say? Well, I don't know how I feel about this. Let's see if. By the way, that's because JD Vance thinks that the orbs most people think are alien craft are actual demons, which, by the way, should give him a lock on the evangelical vote in 2028.
The president and the White House have been out saying Ilhan Omar married her brother, that these are deportable denaturalization offenses.
Yeah. So, and members of your party have been saying that your wife has been seen crying at TPUSA and CPAC gatherings because you were fucking young men there.
We actually think that Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud.
If, perhaps, hypothetically, there was a 2028 run, would you rather run against Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, or AOC?
Oh, God.
So you're saying that Joe Rogan is wrong. We saw aliens.gov.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
Yeah, that is a long discussion. I don't believe in aliens, which statistically have to exist because the number of just stars in our galaxy with planets in the Goldilocks zone that could sustain life is in the billions, and therefore whether or not the growth and death of intelligent life on those planets existed at some point or another, and whether they were ever able to leave the planet or find some way here is another question entirely. But statistically, the existence of them is mathematically a certainty, which is, I think, what Obama was talking about. However, I've not seen the math on demons.
There's a lot going on in the world, and
That's right, there is.
Keep an eye out for the end times.
I will.
Observe answers straight from the chat. We have questions live from inside of the Executive Vice President's office at the White House.
The Executive Vice President? Sorry, did he sign an EO or that turned our government into a company?
We are joined by JD Vance, the Vice President of the United States.
Oh, he's not the Executive Vice President, though? He's assistant to the Vice President?
To answer your questions. Let's go.
No matter how dumb they are.
You're here with the Vice President of the United States, JD.
You are? Who's you? You're alone in that room, shithead. For real. Listen to this again, real quick.
Your questions. Let's go. You're here with the Vice President of the
You're here. He is the vice president. That's who he is. Yes, I am here in this room with myself, Benny.
United States. JD, how's it going? Congratulations on baby number 4, by the way. Why not start off with that?
Well, congratulations to you as well.
Population problem.
That's right. That's right. 8 kids between the two of us. So we're doing our part to make sure that America's birth rate stays high. But we're very excited. Usha's doing healthy. The baby's doing well. So knock on wood, we appreciate your prayers.
The Johnsons and the Vances doing their part. That's right. What's your advice to young men, young Christian men coming out like...
Don't come out. Stay in the closet. Beard up. Oh, that's not what you're talking about. Sorry, go ahead.
When it comes to fatherhood, I mean, I guess like an important driver.
Yeah, give us notes. We've seen you in grocery stores and other being kind of shitty to your kids. How do you manage that?
Right? The motivation to do big, tough things. Like,
let the women raise the children, avoid them as much as possible, because nothing creates drive in a young man like an absentee father.
That's right.
Going after fraud, like preserving an America for our children. It's like actually a great motivator.
That's right. Well, first of all, my advice to young men who are thinking about becoming fathers, who are about to have babies, is you're never ready, right? There's no point at which you can sort of get all your...
He has 4 and he's not ready.
Ducks in a row and get all your financial situation in a row. Whenever you have a baby, whatever stage of life, it will be shocking. It will be crazy. It will be the most difficult and the most rewarding thing that you've ever done.
Horseshit. Not at all. Because the fact that you love that child makes it easier than the other shit you have to do that you don't love that you have to do.
And I think about this all the time.
Unless you don't really love your kids and you just have this kind of like stiff arm relationship to them, and in which case I can see where he has a point.
When a buddy of mine said that the only
gee, he's really interesting. I wonder if there's a basement to this place.
Thing that actually prepared him.
It's got his eyes are just, I don't know what it is. I never really thought of him as really that charismatic, but now that I'm in the room with him.
For being a father was when Usha and I showed up with
maybe it's the eyeliner.
Our first kid, and he was like 3 weeks old, and we looked like zombies because we had no idea what the hell we were doing. We had no idea how to raise this kid. And that said, I would do it all over again. In fact, if I have one regret, it's a very slight regret. I wish that we had started early and had more, because it's the most rewarding. It's the coolest thing. Now that our kids are, they're at the age 8.
Yeah, having kids is cool, man. People think it's something the squares do, but it's actually very hip.
8, 6, and 4, where they've got their own little personalities and they're so quirky and fun. They're all into different sports, and it's just an amazing thing. But I think our society tells young men that you only have kids after everything in your life is perfect, and I think that's a ridiculous attitude.
They do?
Have kids, you figure it out. They're the...
No, that's what we tell women.
Thing that perfects life.
Fatherhood is the absolute best motivator. It's
absolutely.
Yes, nothing motivates like provider anxiety. Venmo. No.
Yes, it is.
Like the biggest lie is that like kids will take away from your careers. It actually 10x's your career and your motivation. Fixing fraud is a massive motivation for you and the fraud task force.
That's right.
You want
try to bring it back to the topic at hand.
You got to fix fraud to preserve an America for our children.
No, you really don't. I mean, there's going to be a certain amount of it. The question is, do you overcompensate for the fraud that's going to naturally exist to the point where you disenfranchise people who actually need the help? If you panic too much about it and you're too focused on fraud, you'll actually cause more damage to the people that need a social safety net, for example. Doesn't mean you don't go after it, but if you tighten the screws too much, real people fall through the cracks. Like you give a shit.
You have to fix fraud to preserve Western civilization. We won't
really
have a country.
Correct.
So, sorry, how do you fix fraud with Donald Trump as the president of the United States?
Keeps going the way that it's going.
We'll go.
Oh, right, you don't. I'm sorry.
Bankrupt, and everything that makes America great will disappear if we allow fraudsters to steal the American dream from the next generation.
Yeah, that's pretty much the greatest description of the Trump administration you could actually make.
I actually just met with Nick Shirley one-on-one very briefly. Of course, he's one of the people who really blew the lid off this crazy fraud in Minnesota with the Somalian illegal immigrant community there. And you know what he said is, a lot of people in my generation, Nick, I don't know exactly how old he is. He's probably 21, 22. He's like, They can't find a job making $60,000 a year, which is what they'd like to be able to, buy a home and support a family. And meanwhile,
on $60,000 a year,
they've got fraudsters. He's talking about his friends, not abstractions, his friends.
Oh my God. He's so interesting. How did I even end up here? I don't know if is it the eyeliner is just making his eyes like pop. Maybe I should try eyeliner. I'm just worried that it would get stuck on my glasses, Maybe it'd be too much and I'd look too much like Christopher Lloyd in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Can't find that job, but they see people driving Mercedes making $1 million defrauding the American people. It's an absolute
Yeah, but you see those people in arrest videos.
disgrace. And I think if we don't fix it, we are not going to have a country in 10 years.
Well, what people need to see, I think that the fraud has been laid bare. We've all seen the Leering Center, right?
Correct.
The Leering Center is not an actual daycare.
No.
The Leering Center was fraud, right? And we've seen the hospice fraud in California.
No, you haven't. You've seen allegations of hospice fraud.
So I think it's been demonstrated that this.
Also, by the way, if you strip away undocumented immigrants from those areas, you're going to see that the money isn't going anywhere because they were actually paying people under the table to do jobs that we don't have enough American workers for. So you have these daycare centers and these like old folks homes that employ a lot of undocumented workers, and they pay them fairly decently, but they do it under the table. So if you go and look at the books, it's going to look like, hey, they never had any employees. They were never here because those people can't legally be paid. So the money looks like it's evaporating, but the services actually were delivered.
This is a problem. What people need to see now is like arrests,
Yes,
right?
100%.
Deportations. They need to see that the federal government, the gears of justice grind against these people and they're not allowed to just continue.
Yes.
Right, that's not going to happen.
So
the state's going to do what little needs to be done about the actual people that are there, but they're not going to, ratchet down the enforcement so much that regular people get screwed in the middle.
I'll give you an example, something I just talked about upstairs, but I think it's worth reiterating for your viewers. So you take
Yes, because we already heard what you said upstairs. What?
A program that exists within Medicaid to help autistic children get the resources that they need. So you have a Somalian fraudster in suburban Minneapolis.
Oh, wait, I got a better one. How about St. Jude's? It's a hospital that provides cancer treatment to kids. They never receive a bill. And you've got, we'll just say there's a guy named Derek Trump. And he sets up a charity where he skims a processing fee off of the money that he gathers that would go to the charity, and it doesn't actually cost anything to do it. He could actually have people at these things write checks directly to St. Jude's, but instead he takes the money in, takes a cut, and then charges an event space fee because he has them at, I don't know, let's say it's his father's property. So I'm just, spitballing. And they take another 30% off them. So by the time the person's, $1,000 gets to St. Jude's, it's $200. And it's so egregious and goes on for so long that a state literally says you can't do any charity work in our state anymore. And that kid's dad, let's just say, and again, I'm spitballing, becomes the president of the United States. And you guys run around cradling his balls in your mouth like a fucking pelican. Hypothetically.
Who says that they have 3 kids.
Except the pelican part, obviously.
Who are autistic. And maybe they don't even have 3 kids, and they certainly don't have 3 kids who are autistic. So it takes money away from the American citizens who need these services. It defrauds the taxpayer. And you're absolutely right that the thing that we need to do is get real justice. So, something I learned just the past couple of months,
that the people have already been charged?
I had no idea that we do not prosecute fraud in this country if it's under $1.5 million per year. Okay? So
Penny's like, wait a minute. I just came up with a new business model. Side hustle.
Think about that. Think of all the people who are $1.5 million a year. This is not
federally
chump change. That is meaningful money. And by the way, sometimes by prosecuting the lower level people, you get to the higher level people, who have sort of the conspiracy.
Also, I call bullshit.
To commit fraud.
Phooey. I'm just going with phooey. The idea that you have to commit $1.5 million worth of fraud. There are people in fucking jail next to Ghislaine Maxwell for bad checks, dumb fuck.
Against the American people. So one of the things that we're trying to do with this task force is commit the Department of Justice to investigating all fraud and actually going after
all of it. That's going to be exhausting. Well, I mean, the nice thing though is that a lot of it's right across the street.
After the people who are doing it at the small scale.
Hey, Pam Bondi's in the White House next week, just hanging around doing some other stuff. While she's there, maybe crack open the books.
Of $1.4 million, but also actually looking at the big conspiracies that are out there. Because, Benny, I don't know about you, but I do not believe that what happened with the Somalian immigrant community in Minnesota, I don't think that happens without some cooperation from politicians, without other people looking the either way, or maybe
looking the either way,
even being in the fraud.
How do you look the either way? Either. Let's call the whole thing off.
Of themselves.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz.
Exactly.
And obviously, Ilhan Omar, the president and the White House have been out saying that she married her brother, that there is immigration fraud going on here. These are deportable denaturalization offenses. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, here's the update. You're full of shit. It's racist, but also if you manage to get rid of her, it's not like they're going to elect a red. It's not going to turn the district red, and you'll probably get somebody in there who votes even more quote Democrat than she does.
Yeah, so we actually think that Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud against the United States of
Then file charges.
America. And I talked to Stephen Miller about this actually recently.
Yeah, I have no doubt that's almost all you guys talk about.
We're trying to look at what the remedies are.
Yeah. Now do Rick Scott.
That's the thing that we're trying to figure out is what are the legal remedies now that we know that she's committed immigration fraud? How do you go after her? How do you investigate her? How do you actually do the thing? How do you build it?
Yeah. Ask Pam Bondi. She doesn't know. What are you going to do? Ask Kash Patel, the head of the FBI? He doesn't know. I know. Call Bongholio.
Case.
Oh, wait.
Necessary to get some justice for the American people. There's a related issue, Benny, which is she has been at the center of a lot of the worst fraudsters in the Somalian community. So
because she's Somali?
I know that Ilhan Omar,
and because you know her name and she's an elected representative, so that makes her in the middle?
Was aware that the Quality Leering Center was defrauding the American people. I'm not certain of it, but we at least need to investigate it, because if people can commit wrongdoing without even the fear that they're going to be found out,
they might end up president one day.
That's a fundamental problem. So I'm worried about the immigration fraud. I'm also worried about what did Ilhan Omar know about what was happening in the Somali community.
It's weird. I feel the same way about Trump and the Epstein files.
And why was nobody looking into it until, frankly, Donald Trump came along?
Yeah, that's right. What about, your friend, Tim Walz? I mean, you guys shared a wonderful moment on the debate stage together.
I do feel very bad for Tim Walz because of what happened in the October 2024 debate. But unfortunately, we're going to have to maybe kick him again a little bit because, again, look, I don't know. To be
yeah, we know you don't know.
Clear.
But I'll tell you what you do know. I bet you've looked at the Epstein files, haven't you? I bet you went over there one night on the down low.
I don't know what Tim Walz knew about the fraud that was happening in Minneapolis. But what I do know is that the Department of Justice is now going to look into it. We're now going to investigate it. And if he committed a crime, we're absolutely going to prosecute it.
Yeah, same with Gavin Newsom in California. There's a lot going on
Gavin
there.
Newsom, same with a lot of folks.
Voter fraud in California, hospice fraud. What
about
the voter fraud? Them like just using fictitious names, paying people for votes. Perhaps you've seen this.
Yes, on Twitter.
We've seen this. We've also, look.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. You've seen posts about it.
California is the state that is most ripe for voter fraud because they will literally prosecute you if you ask for voter ID. And this is one of the reasons why, Benny.
That's because it's considered a poll tax. You're violating someone's right to vote.
Bring in another subject.
They're registered. They went through the registration process. They've already established they're a citizen. They've signed an affidavit to that. And so asking them again is limiting that. And they go to a neighborhood polling place.
This is why the Senate has to grow a spine and pass the Save America Act. Because when you allow people to cast a ballot and you don't even check their ID, in fact, you prosecute somebody at the polls.
But also, you never had those rules and Trump got elected twice. Neither of those rules existed. So either he just figured, I've got to cheat this time, and that's how he won last time, which is, if that's the argument, pass the SAVE Act.
Polling booth who would check their ID, you necessarily invite fraud. And my favorite response on this, Benny, from people is when they say that, well, voter fraud doesn't happen that often.
Right. It is not statistically relevant.
Two problems.
And it's no. And it's always illegal. And when it does happen, people get caught and they go to jail. They're not prosecuting it. People aren't getting away with it.
Number one, not that often is still too much voter fraud in the United States of America.
Yeah, you'll never be able to zero it out. And unless you're going to do eye scans. Let's do that. Let's just go straight to it. Let's just go up and you won't use a fingerprint, use palm prints like a fucking Amazon pay as you go at Whole Foods. How about that? We'll just use your palm print. That'll be the main thing. And then everybody can vote that way. Or you can use your phone because it uses your face.
The amount of voter fraud is actually zero.
Which means you can't vote if you have sunglasses on.
And number two is, if voter fraud doesn't happen that often, then why are you guys so dedicated to stopping our anti-fraud efforts?
Because they aren't anti-fraud efforts, they're voter suppression efforts. And by pretending to go after fraud, which doesn't happen, you will make it harder for regular people to vote who have a right to as American citizens. They will be denied the right to vote. That's because you're using fraud as the cover to commit another crime. That makes sense? It's kind of like, and I think it was Die Hard 3, which was kind of a redo of Die Hard 1. You set off an explosion across town so that you can rob the bank over here.
In other words, why do you care so much? And the reason they care so much
is because it will disenfranchise millions of voters, including, by the way, a lot of maggots. And now there's a tipping point to where it's actually going to affect more maggots than it will, Democrats. So you watch this tipping point where Democrats are more comfortable signing on to it.
Is because they know that fraud happens in both our voting system, but also our welfare system way more often than they let on.
You were in the Senate. You worked with some of these senators who refused to support the SAVE Act, like Mitch McConnell, Murkowski. You know the Senate and how it works. They're going.
You know how many right-wingers don't have proper ID or think that the real ID is the mark of the beast and haven't flown on a fucking plane since it became the law and have to take a fucking Greyhound bus or drive everywhere to come and go, or they'll fucking drive to Mexico. This is the other thing. Maggots without real ID will drive to Mexico using their old Texas ID or whatever, which allows them to get back in without fucking proper paperwork because they can cross over at certain points. And they'll fly through there, or they'll go to the Virgin Islands and take an international flight out of there on a different airline that doesn't require it because it's or go to Puerto Rico and do it.
On recess now, and people are enraged about that without passing the SAVE Act.
Yep.
They're now going on recess.
Or without funding the Department of Homeland Security.
Exactly right. This must frustrate you. You're the president of the Senate, I think, if I read the Constitution correctly.
That's right. That's right.
So what's your word to the senators here?
Yeah, but you don't always preside over it. The president of the Senate is whoever's holding that role at the time. You get to cast the deciding vote. You're the final president over it, but only in those circumstances.
What would you like to see happen? Are you available to cast the deciding vote to pass the SAVE Act?
Absolutely. I am available whenever they would like to pass it. The problem is we actually do not have 50 senators, not who would vote for the SAVE Act, but who would overrule the filibuster. That's something that a majority of the Senate, you need 50 senators plus me, and I'm certainly on board, 50 senators to actually overrule this archaic rule and pass the Save America Act. Now here, this is the thing that I find so absurd about this. If you
Yes. Why should a representative of some state with like 40 million people have the right to stand up and stop a bill that is being pushed by people from states that have 3 million people in it?
Remember,
or less.
Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, two people I didn't always agree with politically, moderate Democrats, but very good people. They are the people who saved the filibuster when the Democrats were in control of the Senate just a couple of years ago. What happened to them? They were tarred and feathered by the far left. They were ran out of town. So when Mitch McConnell and Lisa Murkowski say,
well, Kristen Sinema took it on the heel and toe and became an independent and did all that kind of stuff. And Manchin was on his way out anyways.
Well, we need to protect the filibuster because the Democrats, they're not going to do it. So we shouldn't do it either. The Democrats ruined the career of Kirsten Sinema for not
pre-ruined
overruling the filibuster.
Nope.
They're going to do it. So
gibberish, horseshit.
We might as well do it now to enforce the protection of the American electoral system. It's the dumbest.
Which wouldn't go into place until 2027 anyways. And then that includes, it'll get knocked down in fucking court. It's, again, this is fucking PR.
Political argument I've ever seen. I promise you, Benny,
then pass a standalone voter ID bill, allow for amendments, and a Democrat will put an amendment in that says the United States government has to provide a digital ID or a physical ID for every citizen of the country for free. And you guys won't even vote for your own fucking bill.
I would bet every dollar that I own that the next...
Call me on it. Feel free to at me, as the kids say.
Time the Democrats have control of the Senate, they will break the filibuster, pack the Supreme Court, and destroy this country.
Horseshit.
We have to do it now in order to save the country. Sure.
And then it won't go into place until 2027. You'll lose this fall. You'll probably lose the Senate because of it, because it'll be seen as so egregious. And then the Democrats will not have a filibuster for when they come in next time, and they won't give you guys the votes to put it back in place.
Should the Senate be going on recess right now?
No, of course not. Of course not. We should at least, the very minimum product that we should get before anybody's going on recess is, let's reopen the Department of Homeland Security. Okay? I heard from my mother-in-law this morning, chaos at airports. She's flying.
Yeah, it wasn't chaos. I've flown a bunch of times over the last little bit. It's fine. It's backed up, but it's fine. Like, there's a lot of traffic is what it is. You're taking like full airports, but like I was amazed when I was at O'Hare, especially flying through O'Hare going to Chicago and back in the same 12 hours that, yeah, because that's how dedicated I am. No kings. Awesome. And anyway, so both times going in and going out, it took me, and now again, I have TSA pre and clear because I have no privacy, so I'm not worried about it. But the airport itself, there were not like giant lines at security. It was relatively full, but it always is. Inside the airport, though, it was packed. There were tons of people in there, so obviously they had gotten through security.
This morning, there are over 4-hour waits at the Houston airport. That's probably one of the airports that's the most affected by this.
Why? Why is Texas such a fuck up? You think Houston has more traffic than O'Hare or LaGuardia or fucking Kennedy or LAX? Maybe, just maybe, Texas is full of fuck ups. I mean, Rogan moved there.
We want people to be able to fly and see their families over the Easter holiday without having to wait 6 hours in a TSA line. We want the TSA agents who are keeping our airports safe to...
It's okay. They can't afford to go anyways. The cost of stuff, everything else is too high. Have you seen the price of eggs lately?
Be able to get paid. We want the people who are running our Coast Guard ships and preventing drug cartels from bringing fentanyl into our country. We want them to be getting paid. They're not getting paid because Democrats shut down DHS.
But they're still doing their job, and they will get paid.
Went on recess.
And also, Democrats didn't call recess. And they gave a clean funding bill for those departments, especially TSA and the Coast Guard. And you guys are willing to shut all these things because you don't want ICE agents wearing body cams. That's what this is all about.
Republicans in the Senate should not be playing along.
So
they're not. They're just fuck ups.
We wouldn't actually need a SAVE Act if we got rid of all the illegal immigrants in this country, right? There would be no illegal
I would still
voting.
like it, but sure.
Of course. But like, it's like you're trying to put a Band-Aid on like the real problem. And I think the real problem is I don't know, what is the estimate from the White House of...
Yeah, give us the number of the people. And if they're that many, how come you can't, you're getting less of them out than Obama and Biden?
How many criminal aliens there are in this?
Yeah, how many criminal aliens? Well, that's a trick question because you mean all of them. If they got in here, they broke the law. So they're all criminals at this point.
And will we ever see mass deportations? There's been...
No. Partly because the vast majority of the people that are here are necessary to our economy and are doing a fine job and are members of their communities and are decent people at a higher rate than regular citizens most of the time. But the other side of that, of course, is that this phantom 25 million number doesn't fucking exist.
Some headlines that like perhaps that's not the policy anymore.
No, I mean, I've seen those headlines too. If you look at the number of illegal immigrants that exist in this country, we think that it's probably about 3 million lower than it was when we took office.
They just evaporated.
About 14 months ago. Now, that's a common...
What would that number be then?
...nation of self-deportations. We're trying to facilitate people who leave.
Yeah. You're not seeing them leave, but they're probably leaving. You know, that's probably why. You know what? Benny, you might be onto something. Maybe that's why there's such a clog up at the airports. It isn't that there's so many citizens who can't get through TSA. It's all these illegals without any documentation trying to get on airplanes. That's what it is.
Voluntarily. That's also, we're arresting more people and deporting them than we have pretty much at any period in the history of the U.S. government.
Horse shit. That's just a lie. That's just ridiculously, stupidly wrong. That is not even close to truth. That is just absurdly nonsense. But he's got to say that because you got to trust us, bro. We're arresting way more people than ever before. You just don't see them because we're sending them out of the country like huge numbers, millions of people, dude. You just don't see them leave because we arrest them and then they self-deport.
The problem is we did inherit a mess.
Yeah, what was that mess? By the way, lower than by 3 million. What's the number? He asked you to estimate the number that were in the country, not how many you've gotten rid of, which is also bullshit.
I mean, when I say 3 million, good news is that's 3 million fewer. My guess is we probably still have 20 million criminal illegal aliens in the United States of America. So
we had 10 before. So we got 20 million now, which means we had 13 million that entered and stayed. You've got now 3 million. So there's about 10 million more than there ever were. Nowhere near Trump's 25, 35 million on top of the ones that we had here. I guess, obviously, Benny's not going to push back on Vance and go, we always, the standard number, according to the census and all of the sources, immigrant communities and that kind of stuff, is that we're static at about 11 million people at any given time. Because people die, people go back, people are, born and move back to their countries, people lose a job and return to their home country or what have you. So we're about 11 million in general, or they become citizens through, other methods. They file papers that make it look like they're outside of the country. And then when they finally, get in line, they're already here. That's another big pathway that people take. So that's still minus the 13, where that's still less than a third of what Trump says entered the country.
There's a lot of work to do, but again, goes back.
But again, if there's 20 million and there were 11 million before, you still can't round up more than a few dozen people in big cities.
We've got to keep our foot on the gas pedal. And we also need a Republican Senate and a Republican House that's helping us. What I've realized, Benny, about Democrats and Republicans is Democrats, they always stick together.
Well, maybe we've learned our lesson. I hope so.
Always vote the way that their leadership tells them to vote. So
well, that's because our bills actually help people. Even people that we don't like. That's the funny part. The Infrastructure Act, the CHIPS and Science Act, those kind of things. The child tax credit, for example. These are bills that you can feel good about voting for because not only will they help your side, but they'll help the other side too, because it's not a kid's fault it's born to an asshole. So, that's why. It's not hard to stick together because the bills that we put forward are actually valuable. The difficulty you guys have is that the stuff that you're presenting will not only fuck up your electoral chances in the future, but it will also destroy the economy, wreck the infrastructure, denigrate the value of the U.S. dollar, and make us a laughingstock. So it's a little harder for them to get on board.
You have 50.
I will say though that you're right about one thing. We did stick together on the Epstein Files discharge petition. You couldn't get your act together in 4 of your side, and that was it. That was the minimum needed. No others had the guts to come forward. There wasn't like 6 or 8 or 12 that came forward, even though they all ended up voting for it when it got there. They wouldn't vote for the discharge petition, but that little breakaway group fucked you into the circumstance you're in now.
53 Republican senators. Why can't you get the Save America Act passed? And the reality is that we've only got 48 or 49 Republican senators who are willing to do the right thing.
Yes, and a couple that are insistent on doing the wrong thing.
Good news. That's much higher than it was. Okay. So even 10 years ago, I mean, this is one of the fundamental transformations that Donald Trump has wrought on the Republican Party is
it's doom.
10 years ago, there would have been 35 votes to break the filibuster and pass Save America. Now it's 48. So don't get discouraged. Just get involved because we need to get that 48 to 51 so we can pass this thing.
Yeah, you're not going to do that, especially now between now and the fucking midterms to pass something that wouldn't even affect the elections this year, because a lot of people are like, holy shit, we're going to lose and they're going to have no filibuster. And they'll be able to pass shit. And like, if Trump's going to lose, this asshole's going to lose in 2028. You know, he's going to lose, and Trump's might not even be around. So what's MAGA going to do then? Like, part of these assholes, they're hoping Trump kicks before 2028 so they can use his memory and legacy to emotionally drive these people to vote.
So you're saying that Joe Rogan is wrong? Because Joe Rogan yesterday was roasting the Trump administration, saying probably the most offensive thing you could say, which is that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama are better at deporting people than you.
That's just numerically, statistically, per capita, and a reality.
And you know, when you say per capita, there's many per capitas. It's like per capita relative to what?
I did not see Joe say this. I'm going to
Yes, I'm sure there's a lot of things you do not see.
text Joe because that is definitely wrong. So here's why this is wrong.
They had to fix that. You see the edit? You see the edit there? They gave him another run at this. Hold on. Watch
Say this.
slice.
I'm going to text Joe because that is definitely wrong. So here's why this is wrong.
Notice how and then suddenly he's leaning forward.
Say this. I'm going to text Joe because that is definitely wrong. So here's why this is wrong.
They had to fix it. They had to literally stop down and go, how do I bullshit my way out of this?
When you look at the deportation numbers that go back to the Obama administration, they would count somebody who showed up at the border and they turned away as a deportation. Okay. Now we have almost no one showing up at the border because the border is secure.
Mm-hmm.
So if you,
yeah, but we're talking about the numbers in interior of the country. We're talking about ICE deportations, not just border deportations.
have somebody show up at the border, let them cross into our country, provide them some free medical care and free food, and then you send them home, that counted as a deportation.
Because it was.
What we're talking about is interior deportations. We're
right, which they still have you beat on.
Taking the flood of people that Joe Biden let into our country
that don't exist
and getting them out of our country.
Because that's easy. It's easy to get rid of ghosts. JD Vance will just walk around our country and go, this city is clear.
The numbers from the Obama administration or any other administration, they weren't doing a tenth of what we're doing.
That's real. And yet they had 10 times the response. You're right. They didn't send troops down the middle of streets like a fucking North Korean military parade, but they managed to get rid of people.
So Joe is wrong on this. We've been the best administration in American history.
Trust us, Joe.
At deporting illegal aliens. The problem is we also followed the worst administration at letting them in. So there's a lot of
horseshit
work to do.
Joe says MAGA's full of dorks. What do you think?
Well, I rest his case.
Yourself a dork. This is MAGA's dorks.
I think we have many fewer dorks than the far left, but everybody's got some dorks. We love our dorks. We love our cool kids. We love anybody who wants to save the country.
So the domestic policy issues critical for the midterms. Obviously, yes. High gas. Nobody likes it. Grocery prices. There has been ups and downs, right?
No, mostly ups.
But also homes. I know this is critical for you. You're young. You're the youngest vice president in history. You're a young father.
But not the second dumbest. But there's still time.
You understand the pains of young fathers trying to have housing for their families.
Of course.
Yeah, he lives in government housing right now. That's how he knows. Isn't that sad? JD Vance has to live in government housing.
And also
as a young father.
What a threshold that is to actually start a family if you don't have a home.
That's right.
Right? And so what can young people expect from this administration when it comes to affordability?
Middle finger.
So you've heard me say this before, Benny, but I'll repeat it. But
because it's a talking point and it's a piece of the rally. I'm so fucking bored with this guy.
One of the main drivers of housing costs is that we let in so many people into our country and that we didn't build enough
horseshit
homes. Too many illegal immigrants.
Sorry. We didn't build enough homes for the illegal immigrants.
Weren't building enough homes. We're fixing both of those problems. If you actually
no, you're not.
Look at rents. Rents have gone down, not stayed flat. They've gone down in the United States of America for the past 6 months. Now,
because of building that was done during the Biden administration.
I understand a lot of people were saying,
you think there's a bunch of new fucking empty buildings because they scooped out all the the illegals.
Rents got too high. Housing prices got too high. The fact that they have leveled off is a good thing, but
they have not.
Again, we've got more work to do, but we've made a lot of progress there.
No, they haven't.
You're right. Gas prices way too high right now because of what's going on in the Middle East. The president said this is going to be short term. It's
his fault.
Going to be a blip, as he said, a little excursion, and the gas prices are going to come back down to reality. Food prices, I think that we've done a good job. Again,
based on what?
I think rent and housing is probably where you've seen the most movement over the past 6 months, but there's just a lot more to do.
Yeah, somebody else is going to have to do it. I mean, that's really what you're talking about. Like, if any of this change is going to occur, it's going to be because Democrats write bills and get them passed through a Democratic administration to fix this shit. Because there is no motivation to improve home ownership amongst the rank and file Republicans in the House, much less the Senate. Jesus Christ. They're the anti-poor people party for a reason. You think they want poor people getting a fucking toehold on the American dream? You think the Eric Trumps of the world want to compete with the average citizen's kid?
And Rome wasn't built in a day. And I try to remind myself that while the average American has actually, this is just simple, objective dollars and cents,
is doing way better. You just don't know it.
Has gained about $1,400 since Donald Trump became president in
what? The stock market?
Take-home pay. The average American lost $3,000.
By the way, no. Rules and job instances set forth under the Biden administration that cascade into that year, and you taking advantage of those while undercutting them, it should have been more, and you guys have actually lowered that rise.
$1,000 when Joe Biden was president. So we've made a lot of progress.
Because of COVID, because of Donald Trump in the beginning. This is like blaming Obama for the 2008 crash.
But Biden left us in a big hole, and we've got a lot more work to do. And by the way, just to be...
Edit. They did it again. He look at this.
Progress, but Biden left us in a big hole, and we've got a lot more work to do. And by the way, just to be fair to Joe Biden, which, I would never going to hear me.
Wasn't counting on hearing that.
But look.
Fairness. That's not something we do. Whatever. Christ would hate that.
Biden accelerated problems that existed in this country for 30, 40 years. And it was bipartisan. It was Democrat and Republican. It was ship all of our jobs to China, let illegal aliens into our communities to make them less safe and to make it harder to buy a home. That was the official.
By the way, this is a talking point that Trump wants, because he wants people to think that he's the savior of the country. And so you can't make it the Republicans do the right thing, Democrats do the wrong thing. He's got to be better than both of them. So this is a talking point they have to push forward all the time. And it's so fucking lame, and it screws Republicans in their regular elections, so I'm for it. I hope he keeps doing
policy of the government until Donald J. Trump came along.
See,
you're not going to fix all of that in 14 months, but we've made a lot of progress I'm very proud of.
Mass deportations really tied to so many of those issues. So many of those affordability issues is there's 20.
So they're not happening. So that means the other stuff isn't happening either.
Million people here that shouldn't be here.
Correct.
And many of them are on welfare. And if 40% of the people are getting their food for free, what does that do for the people who are paying?
It drives up the price of food for everybody else. By the way, have you gone to an emergency room in the last few years in this country? Of course, you're going to have half of the people there who don't speak English, who require a translator. That's resources. That's not going to doctors and nurses. And then, of course, you're going to have a much longer wait time because people are there. It's one of the things that you see.
Also, if you're a citizen, you're less apt to have to go to the emergency room for care, because you can have a doctor, you can have a regular, a GP, that kind of stuff. So they end up having to go to emergency rooms because that's the only place or urgent care where they can get, seen. Also, no, the entire world does not look like The Pit. The reason the show The Pit has to take place on big days like July 4th and stuff, if you'll notice, is that while it's crazy sometimes, it's not like that 24/7 every day.
Starting to see evidence of hospital wait times, emergency rooms are more functional because we have fewer illegal aliens in the country.
So gas prices were down. I think the national average was close to $2 a gallon.
No, it was not.
And do you think that's like where
it was never below 240?
The actual stasis is? Do you think that's where that's natural? And, obviously the excursion in Iran is what's doing this with the high gas prices. As somebody who's enlisted, obviously, as somebody who's served, what is your...
As a PR agent for he didn't see frontline action. Now, I mean, all due respect to everybody in the motor pool, they're just as important. But he was he was like an image consultant. Vance was.
Message to the troops. What does the off-ramp look like in Iran?
Assumes facts, not an evidence, sir. The idea that there is an off-ramp is the problem.
Well, the president said, look, we've accomplished the gross majority of our military objectives. I think you can make a good argument we've accomplished all of our military objectives.
So let's get out. Done. Dunzo. President said it. You said it. Benny likes it. Let's go.
The president's going to keep at it for a little while longer.
It's just going to, yes, everybody. I'm sorry, the analogy I was about to say, I'm censoring myself. It's gross.
To ensure that once we leave,
if you're done shitting, maybe just sit there and push for a while.
We don't have to do this again for a very, very long time. That was fundamentally the president's goal. He said, look, this country, they're threatening us in all these ways. They're still trying to build a nuclear weapon. We need to neuter them for a very, very long time, and that's the purpose. You're right. Gas prices have certainly gone up because of what's going on in the Middle East, but they're going to come down, right? This is a very, very temporary reaction to what is going to ultimately be a short-term conflict. I think the president's been very clear about this, that we're not interested in being in a
Yeah, just like last year. Last year, we're going to do this and we're not going back. We're done.
Ran a year down the road, 2 years down the road.
Yeah, that's what they said in Iraq, too.
We're taking care of business. We're going to be out of there soon, and gas prices are going to come back down.
We use the discombobulator.
I cannot talk about the discombobulator. That's highly classified, Benny.
This is my job to ask these kind of questions. Are you going to release all the UFO files?
We're working on it. It's funny. When I came in, I was obsessed with the UFO files. And then you start getting really busy worrying about the economy and national security and things like that.
Yeah, watching your boss fuck up everywhere. And this is the least of my worries.
But I'm
praying that they take over.
I've still got 3 more years as vice president. I will get to the bottom of the UFO files.
Okay. Have you peeked? Have you done a peek?
So I actually haven't. I have
full
not.
Independence Day.
I have not been able to.
Why is that funny?
Spend enough time on this to really understand it.
Yeah.
Do a full Independence Day, which is not a thing. It's not. Makes no sense in the context. I mean, I guess he means after everything's been blown up and they take the president to where they've got the alien underground and he kills Brent Spiner.
But I am going to. Trust me, I'm obsessed with this. I've already had a couple of times where I'm like, all right, we're going to Area 51. We're going out to New Mexico. We're going to sort of get to the bottom of it.
They're not there. They're at Wright-Patterson, stupid. Catch up.
And then the timing of the trip just didn't work out. But trust me, anybody who's curious about this, I'm more curious than anybody. And I've got
bullshit. If you were more curious than anybody, you're over there looking at the Epstein files.
3 years of the very, very tippy top of the classification. I'm going to get to the bottom of it.
Okay, so you haven't been to Area 51 yet?
Not yet.
Some
not
people
yet.
say they keep the UFOs in Ohio. You know, they might,
Hangar 18, right? I've heard that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet.
Okay. All right. Well, we're waiting for it. We saw aliens.gov. We saw aliens.gov.
I don't think they're aliens. I think.
By the way, Benny Johnson has been talking about this shit for a while, and the aliens.gov stuff. It's a great cover for him in dealing with the fact that he doesn't want to talk about Epstein.
All right. Well, we're waiting for it. We saw aliens.gov. We saw aliens.gov.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
Well, I can't let you go without a follow-up on that. Because Barack Obama is on this podcast and he goes, yeah, aliens are real, but like, here's where they're not. You know,
I did not.
And so Obama says, yes, aliens he gets asked point blank, are aliens real? He said, oh, yeah. And then he goes, but they're not at Area 51. And
where are they, bro?
Well, that's what he says. Right. There's a great question.
They statistically exist.
Trump had to go save him, and he said he's going to declassify. Okay. So you think they're demons?
Well, look, I think that
this is going to be awesome. Finally, something that's entertaining and not stiff as a board and the practical bullshit. Now we can get into some real insanity.
Celestial beings who...
Oh, this is going to be good. Wait, I'm backing up. I want to hear the whole thing.
Well, look, I think that celestial beings who fly around, who do weird things to people, I think that the desire to describe everything celestial, everything as otherworldly, to describe it as aliens. I mean, every great world religion, including Christianity, the one that I believe in, has understood that there are weird things out there. And there are things that are very difficult to explain. And I
no insult to you, Ben.
Naturally go, when I hear about sort of extra natural phenomenon, that's where I go to, is the Christian understanding that, there's a lot of good out there, but there's also some evil out there.
And the evil flies around as orange orbs that stick a ice cold speculum up your poop chute and check your vitals.
I think that one of the devil's great
Why would the devil chip you?
tricks is to convince people he never existed.
God, I hate that quote. It's so fucking stupid.
Yes. Okay.
No, not yes. Not yes.
We've been given the wrap, but here we go. I can't let you go without one final question. The last question.
All right.
All right.
Please let it be as dumb as the last answer.
I'm not going to ask you about running in 2028. I won't. Okay, I won't. I've heard the answer a million times. But I will ask you this. Since we started on fraud, and since it's going to come back to it, if perhaps, hypothetically, there was a 2028 run, would you rather run against Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, or AOC?
Oh, God. Oh, man. You just asked the question. You just asked it in a different way to try to trick me. I'm not nearly as easy to trick, but look, I'll say this about the Democrats. They don't seem to have a very strong bench.
Okay.
And I'm not too worried about any of these people as political candidates.
Yeah, because you're tied. You're the vice president of the United States, and you're tied with Newsom right now, nationwide.
I am worried about them as potential presidents because they're all in their own way.
So you do think they could beat you, all of them?
The thing that Benny, I continue to find very interesting about the modern Democratic Party is, on the one hand, they say that they stand for working people. And on the other hand, they support the importation of millions and millions of people who undercut the wages of working people, who take away housing and healthcare from working people.
No, that's Trump and the H-1B visas.
Who stretch the social fabric that normal Americans depend on. And I just think until the Democrat Party wakes up to the fact that,
Democratic.
Cesar Chavez, the old socialist union organizer who hated illegal immigration, recognized this, that you can't.
Yeah, but he was also a pedophile, so.
Not stand for working people and mass immigration. You have to choose one. Until the Democrats make a smart choice, I'm not worried about who they nominate.
It's interesting that I've never heard a Republican really quote Chavez as a source until after he was outed as a pedophile. Then it's okay. That's all right. It's weird.
But God forbid any one of those people ever became president, because then we would have what Biden did to this country on steroids.
And now Jimmy Kimmel's making fun of plumbers. You see that?
I
Mark
did not
Wayne
see
Mullen
that.
upstairs. He said Mark Wayne Mullen's a plumber. Shame on him. He shouldn't be in charge of our security.
You'll be
That's what
shocked to
Kimmel
find out that I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel on the regular.
And that you can't do any plumbing?
I deal with enough annoying people as it is.
said.
See you, Benny.
I mean you, Benny. He means me. Oh.
Well, that was real life.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
Ladies and gentlemen, JD Vance live from inside of the executive office.
It wasn't live. That was not live. You recorded it and edited it. That was not live. Stupid. He was alive. Is that what you mean?
The vice president here at the White House talking demons and aliens. Speaking of alien demons, Ilhan Omar potentially getting deported. What a wild interview. We hope that you enjoyed it. We took all of the questions.
No, I was actually bored as fuck.
Directly from the chat. We are a channel.
Well, if fuck off, Benny. So I think what the big takeaway from that interview, and I'm sorry to force that interview on you, but if this is gonna be the guy, and he might be the lame duck if Trump, at any point between now and the end of this particular term, it's good to know that what kind of magic we're dealing with, and I'm very comfortable in saying that there is no way that Lady Vance is able to marshal maggots the way Trump did, or drive everybody to the polls, or motivate people in the same way that a lot of our bench can. So that's very reassuring. And overall, the interview,
not good.
I agree. And so hopefully we'll have, hopefully I don't really have to cover him doing interviews much more until he's accidentally the president early, or he's running in 2028, which I also kind of doubt at this point. I don't think it's predetermined. I think there's an assumption that they're kind of on some degree, to some degree, hoping for it. But I think the rank and file Republicans are hoping that somebody else steps in, and it isn't Tucker or some shit like that, and gets them right back in the Trump problem they had before. Because once bitten, twice shy. If you're foolish, you can't get fooled again. So that said, I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. There is a regular morning show tomorrow, but the afternoon show will be later because of doctor's appointment stuff. So thank you guys for being understanding. It'll probably be about an hour, maybe even an hour and a half later, because the appointment is like right at the beginning of when my show would start. So that's, you know, that's just what we're dealing with. So that said, I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing. Good on you. And if you want to support the show, just 666 or in any variation therein. And then, of course, you know, just take a picture of that with your phone and send me something via Venmo. Or you can become a member, or you can subscribe to a bunch of things and whatever. You get it. You get it. I don't have to tell you. Thanks for helping. And Patreon, folks, thank you so much. Patreon.com/AlSparks. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
Radio man says this is goodbye, then the needle jumps, the volume cuts. I've seen this reel burn through before. Same slow motion closing door. It's the never-ending ending. Roll the credits, start again. Every goodbye just keeps bending back around the sun, my friend. If the world keeps on pretending, I'll just light one more and sing to the never-ending ending. Sirens in a southern dream, kids still chalking halos on the street. Preacher on the corner losing steam, signs are running out of ink and heat. He's shouting this time, this is it.